music.
Top of the Lakes. This is WCDY McBain, Cadillac, Lake City.
What's up? It's Haley Steinfeld.
We are the Chainsmokers.
What's up? It's James Arthur.
Cadillac's new number one, 107.9
McBain Rambler football is on the air on 107.9 CDY and streaming live at 107.9cdy.com. This broadcast is sponsored by McBain Hardware, Holton's LP Gas, Northern Trucking, Falmouth Co-op, the Wexford Misaki Career Technical Center, Crandall Precision, High Flow Performance, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, Amp Wireless and Pluger Mechanical, McBain Family Pharmacy, Burkholder Family Funeral Home, McNally's Party Store, LC Materials, McBain Auto Service, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, High Point Cadillac GMC, Judy K. Gildy Photography, Taylor Mechanical, and our streaming sponsor, McLean Transmission. Now let's head to the field and join our hosts, Jay Simon and Gary Vanna on 107.9 CDY.
And good Friday evening, everybody. A little late getting on the air this evening, but welcome to the field here at McBain High School. Alongside my longtime broadcast partner, good friend and all-around Renaissance man, Gary Hawkeye Vanna. I am Jay Simon. Thank you so much for being with us. Week 9 of the regular season here in the 2018 year. And it is the McBain Ramblers playing host to the Fremont Packers on a drizzly, cold, rainy night here in McBain. Game is already underway. We are early here in the first quarter. Fremont with the ball, going left to right across your radio dial with their first possession of the game. And they are facing a 4th down and about 3 to go at their own 42-yard line. Packers in their road red pants, white jerseys, come out in a 3-set back. And we're going to have an offsides on the Ramblers on 4th down. And that's going to give the Packers a first. So after 3 straight runs, 1 for 5 yards, 2 nice stops, Hawkeye for no yards and 2 yards, the Ramblers jump off sides and they'll give the Packers a first down.
Yeah, it looked like that was the Fremont's plan the whole time, was to try and hard count McBain off sides. If not, take the 5-yard penalty and punt. Hey, big game tonight. McBain already punched their ticket to the playoffs, hoping to get a home game with the victory.
6-2 coming into this one, punched their ticket to the playoffs last week with a win against Fremont. Here's a handoff around the right side and over midfield.
Number 6
is Zane Stroven, the senior for Fremont. Fremont Hawkeye comes into this contest at 1-7. They had a victory over Central Montcalm back in week 4. And that win ended a 30-game losing streak that the Packers were on. They've been in a couple close games. They've had some pretty solid results, played ever tight. And anything can happen on any night, as we get a handoff over the left side. As the Packers, Hawkeye, that's a fairly familiar offense with the full house backfield.
Yeah, I'll come back with the old wing T deception game where 3 running backs double over like they have the ball and you try and hide who has it. Ran many years here under Coach Chad Grundy. Before that, Phil Christensen. And before that, Brett Forrester. And in between there, Matt McDonald. So it's been in McBain for a long time. This is the first time we've seen the spread from McBain. So a little bit different offense, but we've seen this many times.
There's a handoff around the right edge, and nice penetration by the Ramblers. Brandon Taylor, the carrier, is taken down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a yard back at the 49-yard line of the Ramblers.
Senior Cade Brown on that one, which, it's always interesting because Cade Brown's probably 160 pounds nose guard, and you kind of get interesting because they'll switch him out with Caleb Altman, who's about 270 nose guard, and really the center has to pay attention to who's blocking because he never knows if it's the short, quick guy or the big bruiser.
Christian Kennedy back to punt for the Packers as they face a 4th and 6 just over midfield. 8 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, no score. Good snap. Rolling out to his right, sending it toward the sideline, and it's going to go out of bounds right around the 38-yard line, 37-yard line of the Ramblers. And that is where McBain will take over. They're actually going to mark this at the 35, which
35-yard line.
I don't get. The ball literally bounced on the 37-yard line.
Well, there's a little discussion on this one, so. Yeah, you can hear a couple different names here. Is Gavin Sealand and Logan Vandenbos are nursing knee injuries.
So the handoff, this is on an Ealing, room to run on the right side, untouched over midfield, 40, 30, one man to beat, Ealing to the end zone. We got a flag coming in behind him, back at the 20-yard line. Into the end zone was Ealing. However, there is a flag, although the line judge is pointing in the direction of the Packer defense. We'll have to see what this call is. He is saying it's a hold. Nope, now he's going to point back at McBain. Looks like we're going to get a hold. However, this should still be a big gainer for Ealing if this hold was indeed in the area of where the flag was thrown, down at around the 20-yard line of Fremont.
So that's just from the spot. So that's not.
So it is a hold
Holding against McBain.
Against McBain.
From the spot of the foul.
Well, they're coming back. No, there's a flag way back at the 35 at the line of scrimmage as well, Hawkeye.
Oh, that's where the big penalty's coming from.
Well, I thought there was a flag thrown
There was two flags
toward
on
the
that
end
play.
of the zone. They have a late holding, an early and a late holding, perhaps.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So everything's been erased on that one. And we'll move back to 1st and 20 for McBain.
Yep, the original flag, the holding call is going to send it all the way back now
10 yards mark from the line.
to the 25-yard line.
1st and 20.
And so now McBain will look at a 1st and 20 situation.
Okay, we're going to hit a dive or something here.
Daniel Rodenbaugh, the sophomore, is your quarterback, with Gavin Seelan on the sidelines. Rodenbaugh with Ealing in the backfield with him. 2 backs, 3 receivers. Handoff is up the middle, and Ealing will take it across the 30-yard line, gain of about 6. George Brown III, the other back in the backfield. So this is a very different looking
Number 8, Cody Andre.
backfield for the Ramblers, Hawkeye, in Brown, Rodenbaugh, and Ealing. Ealing has seen time back there.
7-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 13.
And actually, Rodenball's gotten some experience in there and led McBain to one of their wins on the season when Gavin Seelan went down with an injury early in the game.
And here is Rodenbaugh through the middle, midfield, 40, Rodenbaugh, nobody in front of him, 10-yard line, touchdown, Ramblers, no flags on the play. Daniel Rodenbaugh with the keeper up the middle, and the Ramblers with a couple of 65-plus yard runs, but the second one really counts, and they take a 6-0 lead with 6:57 to go here in the first.
Yeah, what a great hole opened up by the left-hand side of the line. I think that was Abonico and 56. Who's 56 on your program? He had a great block out there, too.
I don't know, some kid named Vanna. Extra point attempt by the Ramblers. When did this start? George Brown III puts it through the uprights. Old school style. Maloney hustling out to give him the high five. So with 6:57 to go here in the first, McBain with a 7-0 lead. Up is down, down is up. Extra points by McBain. What happened in the week I missed last week, Hawkeye?
2 weeks?
Did I miss 2 weeks? Maybe that's the problem. I didn't miss 2 weeks. I was here for Beale City 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. You were here for Beale City. You missed the 2 weeks before that.
Yes. I've missed 3 of the last 4, but they didn't kick any extra points against Beale City.
The win was at his back.
Is that what
But this is the second time they've gone for the 2-point or the extra point. Sorry. You know, in the lower levels, that kicking an extra point is worth 2 points, and the 2-point conversion is only worth 1 if you run it in.
Oh, that makes some sense, actually, because it would be a lot harder to do.
So anyway, they went for the 1-point conversion. They've been working on that a little bit. Never know when you're going to need to pull out that type of play, especially if you can get that consistently.
68-yard touchdown run by Daniel Rodenbaugh, your backup quarterback and quarterback of the future. Right up the middle, as Hawkeye mentioned, some great blocking on the left side. Rodenbaugh basically, well, not even basically, literally untouched on that run as he got through the gap and then just outraced the rest of the Packers to the end zone, as George Brown III will skip this one off an up man, and he will down it at about the 32, and that's where Fremont will take over. We mentioned, Hawkeye, that Fremont comes into this contest at 1-7, snapped a 30-game losing streak back in week 4 with a 26-12 win over Central Montcalm. They do have a couple of close ones. Lost to Everett earlier in the season, actually in week 1. 30-26, lost to Tri-County 14-12. So they've competed, certainly, but they play in a very, very tough division. It is the CSAA Gold Division that has been dominated by Reed City for the last 9 years. Full house backfield. And the handoff up the middle, not much there.
That's why they gaps it.
Given the line of scrimmage or so.
32 with a carry.
Tell you what, McBain's got a little bit of nastiness on that line. Owen Bonico and Bam Bam next to each other and really playing a 7-man front, daring the Packers to pass the ball.
And off again up the middle, and that got some penetration there. It looked like the Ramblers were going to blow that one up in the back, but they gave it to the right guy. As just shy of the 40-yard line, give him the 39. So a nice little run there, about 7 yards. And it'll bring up 3rd and a short 3, long 2, depending on how you want to look at it. It is blustery out there right now, Hawkeye. The wind blowing south to north, essentially, here into the faces of the Packers as they go left to right. 2 receivers now, single tailback with a double wing. They'll give it to the tailback straight up the middle, and he is stacked. Oh, my. Multiple green jerseys stopping the forward progression at about the 40. Give him the 40, and it'll bring up 4th and 2. And finding a number for the Packers on that carry, Gary, impossible.
That was impossible.
If you didn't see it before he took off.
But then again, in the same token, call any one of the running backs. Nobody in the radio is going to yell at you for calling it wrong.
Fair. I could pick any name I wanted, couldn't I? We'll say it was Cody Andre. Full house backfield. They're going to try and take it straight up the middle on the QB sneak and may have this. That's a solid push by the line as they snapped it quickly, Hawkeye. That's a nice play call. I think Fremont's got the first down. They do.
Yeah, they do have the first down. Nice little gutsy call. What I'm looking at right now is that Garrett Verberkmos is limping pretty severely. And, you're getting ready for the playoffs. And what time do you wonder about what's more valuable?
Cody Andre, Hawkeye, actually the quarterback. That's why I keep seeing number 8 out there. For the Packers, the junior. And he picks up that first down. 1st and 10 from the 43. Andrew will hand it off over the left side of the line. Might have got to the 45 based on the near side line judge. We'll give it to him. Call it 2nd and 8. 4:26 to go here in the opening quarter. Ramblers lead it 7-0 on a 68-yard touchdown run by Daniel Rodenbaugh that came 2 plays after what was a 65-yard touchdown run by Anand Ealing got wiped out by a holding penalty. Full house backfield again for Andre. And again, the Ramblers have jumped into the neutral zone. Linebackers. I don't know if they're trying to. It didn't honestly look like the infracting. Did I just make up a word? Rambler was being induced. It looked like he was trying to intimidate the center into jumping, but he just went too far, got into the neutral zone.
Well, I don't know. I just think he was trying to time the blitz, and he just missed the timing on that. So I don't know if you call that infracting inducement or what. But obviously there's something hard to count because a lot of people are moving.
2nd and 3 midfield, and meeting him head to head. It was a nice job defensively by Logan Rodenbaugh, but the tailback able to make a bit of a shift and get around the edge. And he's got another Fremont first down. They'll move the chains in McBain territory at the 47-yard line.
At this point, the offense only has to average 2 yards per carry to get a first down because it's 2 yards, offside call, 2 yards.
There you go. Brilliant. 3.5 to go here in the first. 1st and 10 at the Rambler 47 for the Packers. Hand off over the right side, through the hole. And then grabbed from behind and dragged down by Justin Camphouse was Brandon Taylor, who went through the right side of the line, largely untouched, all the way down to the 31-yard line of the Ramblers, 16-yard gain, and that's another Packer first down.
And now they bring in the beef in the middle. Hope the center realizes he's got Caleb Outman overlooking him instead of Cade Brown.
There's a mild difference between those two.
Yeah, you got Caleb Outman or his thigh.
Full house backfield. Taylor is your running back in the middle of that threesome. Andrew will hand it off to the right side tailback, and this will get over the 30, maybe the 28, we'll call it. 3-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. Inside 3 minutes to go. Here in the opening quarter, McBain with a 7-0 lead. Week 9 of the regular season, the Ramblers will play next week, but we can't tell you where, when, and against whom until the Selection Sunday show on the Sunday night on Fox. You can see that as the MHSAA will determine the 256 teams making it into the playoffs. We know the Ramblers will be in the playoffs, but we don't know in what division. We don't know who they'll play. As the handoff strung out by the Ramblers around the left edge, Kennedy will make it to about the 25-yard line, give him 3 more. And it will make it 3rd and about 4 now for the Packers with 2:15 to go here in the first. Well, Hawkeye, there's that website, snoozetoyou.com. We check that pretty religiously after every week. Following week 4 or so, the brilliant young man behind that website using the MHSAA data kind of draws up the districts. If the playoffs started today kind of thing, would your team be in? Where would they be? And it's just a fun thing to look at week to week. As Andrew, that busted play, I think the snap might have been mishandled by quarterback Cody Andrew.
So,
but in any case,
talk about your website.
Yeah.
Isaac Culp of the Rambler Review actually contacted him last week and said he wanted to be his intern. And he wrote back and says, I'm a one-man show.
Yeah, he is a one-man show. I've not met him, but I've seen him at another game, playoff game that I broadcasted. He was there watching the game. He goes to the occasional games during the week whenever he can, especially in the playoffs. Just a football fan. Andrew wants to pass, throwing into the right flat and way short. There were literally 6 Ramblers defending 2 Packers on the outside. And clearly McBain recognized the pass attempt before, and they were swarming to the ball. So on 4th down, the Packers will turn it over on downs at their first pass attempt. Comes up short. McBain will take over. 1st and 10 at their own 27.
So the defense bend but doesn't break on that one, as they did let the Packers get deep into their territory.
3 receivers to the near side for Rodenbaugh as he fakes the handoff for Ealing, who scoops it up, and Ealing has got some space, and he'll make it out to the 30-yard line as he picked up the bouncing football and somehow turned something from nothing. Give him the 31.
Tell you what, you give Ealing a glove, he'd be a slick shortstop.
Sure would. Well, it used to be Chad Grundy. I don't know who the baseball coach is anymore.
It is Pastor Smith.
Well, with only one
Doug
pass.
Smith, who actually played for the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, there you go. With only one pass in this first quarter, we are approaching the 30-second mark. This first quarter blowing by here in McBain. Rodenbaugh wants to throw, rolling to his right, pump fake. Now he'll throw and overshoot his intended target.
His brother.
Looking for Logan Rodenbaugh, his brother.
They should have like another sense on that one, those two.
There should be some sort of connection. That'll stop the clock with 17 seconds left. So, of course, right after I say how the quarter has flown by, we get a stop because of the incomplete pass.
That'll bring up 3rd and 5.
3rd and about 5 now from the Ramblers at their own 31-yard line. Talk a little more about Snooze to You and the projections going into next week between quarters. Trips to the right for Rodenbaugh. Eden in the backfield with him. Rolling to his right. Under pressure, now cutting back. And he is going to get brought down just about the line of scrimmage. Give him the 32, maybe a yard on the play. But it's going to bring up 4th and about 4 now.
So let's time out.
And we got a timeout from McBain with 6.3 seconds to go in the first quarter. Not sure why that necessarily is. We'll keep it here, Hawkeye, and we'll talk real quick again, as I mentioned, after each week. Snooze, as we call him, because I don't know what his actual name is, takes the data from the MHSAA, the playoff points, and he knows what teams would be in, roughly, based on how the MHSAA has historically done this. Obviously, teams with a certain number of wins each week, you're projecting that they may win and whatnot. And so it's fun to look at week to week. But what he does after the end of week 8 is what's really cool. He goes through and he looks at the playoff points of the two teams as they play each other in week 9 and says, okay, if the favorites win, if the team with more playoff points, which you assume is the favorite, wins, who would be in after week 9? And he projects what it's going to look like. Now, when the games are all complete and the MHSAA website is updated, he'll put out the 256 teams that are definitely in, but he'll do it based on how he thinks the districts will be drawn up. MHSAA will then come out and do it differently because I think they purposely make sure that he's not right.
That's right. They don't want
cases.
him to know more than they do.
But right now, Ramblers favored in this contest if they finish 7-2 and the other favorites win, as the Ramblers come out and get a gorgeous punt. That thing needs to check up, and it will not. My goodness, Hendrickson, Bam Bam just punted that ball. That had to be 60 yards in the air and then carried into the end zone on the bounce. That was an incredible punt.
He got all that one, and the wind,
sure did.
The wind seems to have more effect on the ball than we realize. Or maybe he's just that big of a leg.
Well, I think he's got that big of a leg. The thing is, that's still technically a 48-yard net punt. That's still very impressive.
So why'd we call a timeout to bring out the punt team?
I honestly don't know. It's a great question.
I wonder if they were considering going for it on 4th down and wanted to get one more play to keep the momentum, so that if you got the first down at McBain, then hopefully you can suck any life out of Fremont if you can get a second score and go up by 14. I mean, when you have a history of losing and you can get up by 2 scores,
right,
you wonder what that will do to the morale of the opposing team.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but we'll have to ask Maloney that because we don't know. That is the end of the first quarter. 7-0. McBain leads it on the 68-yard touchdown run by Daniel Rodenbaugh. Take a moment and give our sincere thanks and apologies to
Pluger Mechanical?
Yeah, but you don't have them elsewhere. Okay. I'm looking for Pluger Mechanical's write-up, and I don't see it. Well, that's not. Oh, so this is Pluger Mechanical's write-up. Okay. You know what? I'll bet you did have that in the sheet, and it said Pluger Mechanical, and I just saw the mechanical and didn't think about changing the name. We'll give them more love here in just a second. Second quarter starting. And we've got a stoppage before the snap. We're going to have a false start on the Packers, and that will send them back
False start on the Packers.
5 yards.
False start on the Packers. That'd be a 5-yard penalty. Brings up first and 15.
Tell you what, for a game like this, in this weather, the McBain fans sure came out for this one. The stands, you can hardly find an empty seat.
Parents' night?
It is parents' night. It's also rainy. It's windy.
Oh, yeah.
And they're already in the playoffs. It's not a conference game. So give us kudos out to the fans that did come out. And there are a lot of them.
Kudos to the decent-sized Fremont parents that came the far sideline as well. It had to be quite the haul, as there's the handoff up the middle. Bursting free is Kane Wilding. Kane Whiting. And Whiting somehow, keeping both hands on the ball, got through the middle of the Rambler defense and rumbled his way out to the 39-yard line for a big first down and some space. 24-yard gain.
Well, if we kept track of time of possession, Fremont sure has it a lot longer than McBain.
They sure do. Full house backfield again. Andre will give it to the right side tailback again around the edge. We got a flag on the play as George Brown III with the initial hit, helped out by Cade Brown. He's Whiting on the carry.
And on tackle number 4, Kate.
And he's getting up slowly. If he was a quarterback in the NFL, they'd have thrown several flags.
Yeah.
We got a block in the back, apparently, on the Packers. The hold, excuse me.
Holding on the Packers.
The mist, the rain now, you can see it through the lights. The wind still blowing pretty harshly from right to left. So that's going to take them back to the 30-yard line. And it'll be first and about 19 to go now for Fremont. 11:15 to go here in the second quarter. Packers going right to left. Ramblers trying to time things. Andrew will hand it off. Around the right edge is Zane Stroven, and Stroven without much room will take it out to about the 31, maybe the 32-yard line. We'll give him a couple. It'll be 2nd and 17. We want to thank Pluger Mechanical. Should have been our pregame sponsor, but technical difficulties kept us from being able to have a pregame show tonight. Licensed and insured for all your new installations, HVAC services, and light plumbing. Give Aaron a call at 282-3194. That's 282-3194. Pluger Mechanical. 10.5 to go here in the second. Andres will hand it off the middle. I think that's Taylor, and not much going there. Momentum will take him out to the 33. We'll say 34. Actually, the heads linesman has him just shy of the 35. One of the bigger discrepancies between linesmen I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So it's one of the craziest things about a sport, and at the NFL level, it's even worse, really, right? Because they're so much faster and so much bigger. There's no way you can tell.
I'm looking at the back judge here.
It's completely subjective. You have no idea where that ball is when they get stopped. The back judge is real close right now to the linebackers of the Ramblers because he's trying to huddle for warmth. There's a end around here to the sideline, and sliding down is Christian Kennedy. And Kennedy actually stopped shy of the first down. He had plenty of space as he went over the 40-45. They're going to mark him down at the 47-yard line. And so instead of a possible first down, 46 we'll call it. It's going to be 4th down now and about 3 yards to go. Honestly, if he had just headed for the sideline, they'd be looking at 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Timeout on the field with 9:09 to go. Hawkeye, so many things we still have to talk about, but we got to take a break. We will. 30 seconds. Poor Zach back in the studio, nothing to do. He wants to run a spot for you. We'll be back. 7-0 McBain right after this.
Stop into High Point Auto and Truck Center in Cadillac for a great selection of new GMC and Cadillacs. High Point is your premier source for parts, services, tires, accessories, and new and certified used vehicles. We are your one-stop shop for every vehicle need that you may have. At High Point Auto and Truck, customer satisfaction is our goal. High quality, high standards, but low prices at High Point Cadillac GMC, located at exit 177 in Cadillac.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye. Vanna, 7-0 Ramblers with the lead over the Fremont Packers here in the second quarter. 9:09 remaining as the Ramblers attempting to put the finishing touches on a 7-2 season with a win tonight and head into the playoffs next week, hoping to host at least one game, a pre-district. That'd be great. I know the head of concessions would love that. Fremont now with a 4th and 3, going for it. Handoff is up the middle. Taylor is stacked, and this should be short.
I don't know.
Boy, the head linesman is right on the line. The other linesman is about a yard shorter. This is incredible to me. How did they get this so different? This is right in front of us, Hawkeye, and they're going to actually mark it where the near linesman has it. And this should definitely be short, but they're going to measure it. Seems pretty clear, but honestly thought that where he was stopped, he was clearly short, but that could definitely be a bit of a Rambler bias. Happened pretty much right in front of us. We're right about midfield. And this is right around the 48-yard line. As they bring out the chains, we will also be sure to thank Kelly's Pizza and, boy, I can't even talk tonight, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, Crandall Precision, Amp Wireless and Pluger Mechanical, LC Materials, and McNally's Party Store for their support of tonight's broadcast. And the Ramblers have gotten it back. Turnover on downs as they stop the Packers about a half a yard shy of the first down. So McBain will take over at the 48-yard line of Fremont with a 7-0 lead and 9:04 remaining here in the first half.
There's not going to be a pass play here. I don't expect it. I expect a few QB runs and a few.
Ramblers going left to right now into the wind. Trips to the left for Daniel Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh fakes to Ealing, and then he'll go straight up the middle. It wasn't much of a fake. Ealing was already past him as he pretended to hand him the ball. Somehow, despite the fact that that entire linebacking crew had to know he was running that ball, he managed to pick up a couple. Give him the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, once again, quarterback read on that. Good idea to do this with the young quarterback. He's got good speed there, and you got Tom over on this behind him, otherwise known as Auden Ealing.
Why is he Tom?
I don't know.
This time pistol formation, straight ahead for Ealing. Ealing bursting through the middle around the left side. He's got blockers. Ealing up the left sideline, 30, 20, 10, end zone, touchdown, Ramblers. Auden Ealing with a burst up the middle as the Ramblers went to the pistol formation out of the shotgun and instead put Auden Ealing in a shotgun or a cannon. And wow, what a burst of speed.
They did launch him on that one, didn't they?
Yeah, what a rush around the left side. He had a 65-yard touchdown run called back. No calling back this one. 44 yards, excuse me. Yes, 46 yards to the house for Ealing, as the Ramblers will now come out and go for 2 as they are going into the wind, apparently following your edict, kick it with the wind, go for 2 against the wind. Rodenbaugh back to pass. Rodenbaugh will pull it down. Now he'll cut up the middle, and he's going to get stacked, and he will be short for the 2-point conversion. But with 8:19 remaining here in the first half, the McBain Ramblers have a 13-0 lead over the Fremont Packers. We'll take a 30-second break and be back right after this.
Your one-stop farm supply store is Falmouth Co-op in the heart of agriculture country. With locations at Falmouth and McBain, Falmouth Co-op has what you need to keep all your animals well-fed and healthy. Plus, bulk fuel and professional agronomy services like custom fertilizers and spraying and soil and grid sampling. Falmouth Co-op is your premier grain dealer and birdseed headquarters. And the McBain location has pizza, burgers, wings, and appetizers. Stop in today at either location in Falmouth and McBain. Falmouth Co-op is proud to support McBain's student athletes.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon, Gary Hawkeye Vanna with you. The Ramblers with a 13-0 lead over the visiting Fremont Packers. Zach Wiggins turning the dials for us back in the studio as Auden Ealing with a 46-yard touchdown run to give McBain the 13-0 lead. Ealing had a 65-yard touchdown run called back for holding in the first half. Ealing is running well tonight, and we wondered with Gavin Seelan out, as well as Vandenbos, Logan Vandenbos, one of the usual tailbacks for the Ramblers, how this offense would look. Well, the offensive line has decided, listen, we don't care who's running back here. We don't care if it's Gary Vanna.
Well, wait
there will
a minute.
be big holes, and you can still pile up the yards. You're telling me you couldn't have run through those? This is not going to go 10 yards as George Brown's chip shot.
So that means
we'll check up inside the midfield line. So the flag means that the Ramblers, will they make them kick from further back again, or what's the
it should be
on this?
Where the ball dies, and Fremont should take over.
Yeah,
right there. So Fremont starts off in our territory right off the bat.
So that chip shot will give Fremont a first down at the Rambler 46.
with the athletes, they have issues with the ball.
Full house backfield for Fremont, going right to left. Andrews will hand it off. And nice tackle. Wow, great job of getting into the backfield.
Logan Ronabaugh found the hole there that he was looking for and filled it nicely, taking it for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, the tackle number 34, Logan Rodenbaugh.
Mark it back at the 48-yard line. Loss of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 12 now for Fremont.
Loss of 2 on the play brings up 2nd and 12.
One more time, just want to thank Pluger Mechanical. Licensed and insured for all your new installations, HVAC services, and light plumbing. Make sure you give Aaron a call, 282-3194. 282-3194. Pluger Mechanical, our pregame sponsor, even when there is no pregame. As the Packers hand off up the middle, and that Cortland Carson will be stopped at about the 45.
Number 5, Cortland Carson.
Gain of about 3. That'll make it 3rd and 9 now for Fremont. 7:15 remaining here in the first half. The clock, Hawkeye, has a couple of bulbs out that make it difficult sometimes to tell. There's a couple numbers that it drives me nuts on. I don't know which ones they are. And we're going to get a false start on Fremont, and that's going to send it back to midfield.
I don't know about you, and I don't like to call out people, but it had to be like the slowest false start I've ever seen, because usually they fire off on that. He's just like, he just kind of like
he came up almost like he was getting ready to pass protect it.
I don't know. It was just so slow the way.
Normally, you'd expect him to go forward.
Anyway.
So 3rd and about 14 now for Fremont. Andrews will hand it off, and room to run and through. First down and more. 30, 20, and into the end zone. No flags on the play. The Packers with a burst on 3rd and long, a 50-yard touchdown run for Zane Strovan, I think, into the end zone. And Fremont trims the lead to 13-6 with 6.5 to go here in the first half. Well, they busted a couple decent runs, Hawkeye, but the Ramblers have been able to run them down in the secondary. This time, with basically 11 people within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, there was nobody left. And Strovan able to outrun the Ramblers into the end zone, as the extra point is good. So with 6:27 remaining here in the first half, Fremont answers, and it is a 13-7 McBain lead. We'll take a quick break, 30 seconds, and be back right after this.
Making the final arrangements for a loved one is never easy. At Burkholder Family Funeral Home in McBain, they can help you get through the process one step at a time. Serving the families in McBain and the surrounding communities for over 40 years, they take pride in providing exceptional services that families can actually afford. The caring and compassionate staff at Burkholder Family Funeral Home can help ease the burden. Burkholder Family Funeral Home. Visit them today at 211 North Pine Street in McBain, or call 231-825-8191.
And welcome back. McBain High School, Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Zach Wiggins earning his money back in the studio because the talent's just giving him a hard time the entire broadcast. We're terrible people. Gary, we're terrible people. All right, I'm a terrible person.
No, I'm just thinking the big problem is last week we had the lapel mics down, and he had to run the sound for us, and now we got these nice mics back this week.
Yeah.
So I think that
could be what it is. Yeah,
that's the big problem.
Maybe the setting got jacked
up. 2
up.
different sets of equipment in 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe the settings jacked up a little bit from last week.
So that's on us, Zach.
We'll blame Bill. He's not here. 13-7, Ramblers with the lead. As Fremont will do the run to the ball in a group fake and now come back out and look to kick this off normally. And then the ball will fall off the tee. Wyatt Costra is the holder. Or the kicker, excuse me. It might need a holder if this falls over again. Let's try this again. Boot the ball, and we're good. Beautiful kick that will sail into the end zone. 13-7, McBain with the lead. As we've already mentioned previously, the Ramblers are in the playoffs, but we don't know who they'll play or where. As it stands right now, solid chance McBain will be at least a 2 seed in their district at Division 6 or Division 7. There are a couple of undefeated teams at both levels, Hawkeye, that would clearly be ahead of them in the region. And so it's highly unlikely, barring a major upset at some level, that they would see a number 1 seed in their district. But a 2 seed and a home game is definitely possible, as Rodenbaugh hands this up the middle. As Logan Rodenbaugh, George Brown, excuse me, the third up the middle. George brought down at the 22.
Carson. 2-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8 now for McBain. What happened to them getting the ball on the 25?
That's just pros.
Is that crazy? Is that just the pros that happens now?
Yes.
Okay. I got to quit watching the NFL. 2 backs for Rodenbaugh. He'll hand it to Ealing, and Auden Ealing will take it over the left side. So we got bodies all over the place. Teammates trying to hold teammates back. A little mix-up. Give him 3 yards to the 25. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 now for McBain. 5.5 to go here in the first half. George Brown comes off the field, which means we'll probably see Ealing as the lone setback with 4 receivers now for the Ramblers.
And I can't tell, McBain setting up for an off-balance line or not. No, they're back to the traditional line formation.
Justin Camphouse will line up in the slot on the near side with 2 other receivers. Single receiver to the far side, Rodenbaugh in the shotgun. He'll roll to his right, wants to throw. Under pressure, he'll throw for the sideline for Camphouse. And did Camphouse keep his feet in? He did not. They're saying he did not have control of the pass at the sideline. It was a nice try by Camphouse to kind of dance his feet in, but he did not get that foot in. And so it'll be 4th down and 5 now for the Ramblers.
Yeah, he was wide open on that one, but like I said,
a little more on it. Yeah, into the wind. That was a tough pass for Daniel Rodenbaugh.
And I think the wind did push it out and fluttered it on him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's see what Bam Bam could do in the wind.
Indeed. I'll tell you right now, if this thing crosses midfield, I'm going to be very impressed. Hendrickson proves he can kick even into the wind. A high punt that will land and take a Packer bounce. And the ball will be downed at the Rambler 46-yard line. So it took a terrible backspin for the Ramblers. Got a Fremont bounce, but I'll tell you what, that would have been nicer had it been a little lower. But that's still a heck of a boot by Noah Hendrickson.
Yeah, that is, you know.
Breeze.
And the thing is when it's bouncing like that, rolling that far, you have the danger of that running off of a Fremont player without them knowing it, because
absolutely
they don't expect it to
check up like that, right?
Yeah, 15 yards.
Does Noah Hendrickson have a chance to kick at the next level?
I'm not aware of.
Handoff is to Zane Stroven. And Stroven will pick up about a yard, give him the 45. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Fremont. 4.5 to go here in the first half. I know there's a lot of other factors related to being able to do anything at the next level, but boy, I tell you, there's a lot of raw ability there with probably not much punting coaching.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of raw leg that somebody could use, I'm sure.
Yes. After the first 2 songs, I'm playing the CDs. Yes. Yep.
Handoff up the middle again. This is Taylor, and the ball marked at the 44, another yard. It'll make it 3rd and 8 now. So the Rambler defense, Hawkeye, has given up a few big plays, but for the most part has done a really good job
If they're from the other side,
slowing things down. It's these situations that have been dangerous.
Yeah, it's just when they have that wing back over there or just some type of trickeration that causes McBain to lose sight of the ball.
Yeah, Stroveland on this near side, and we're going to have Ramblers lined up in the neutral zone. Is going to cost them 5 yards. So instead of 3rd and 9, we're looking at 3rd and 4. As we'll move it up to the 39-yard line of McBain.
Obviously, Fremont doesn't realize that they were supposed to be a pansy tonight because they're playing very tough and very good here, and they're giving McBain everything they can handle.
Yeah, cannot disagree with you. So 3rd and 4, just inside the 40-yard line of the Ramblers. 3 and 20 remaining here in the first half. Andre up the middle. Nice job. Wow. What a great job. Owen Bonico. As Kane Whiting tried to go by him, Bonico basically wrapped him up around the waist and just suplexed him backwards and not allow him to gain any more yards. Ball will be marked right about the 38, call it to 37.5. And that means it'll be 4th down and a decision coming up now for Fremont. 4th and a long 2.5, call it 3 yards. Timeout on the field right now for Fremont. Hawkeye, who is that adult with a saxophone standing in the band area? That's not Vandervelde, is it? What is he doing?
No, that's Mike Vandervelde.
Whatever. I like to call him Vandervelde because it irritates him.
Oh.
Is he part of the band tonight?
He very well may be, because I see him with an instrument, and Heather Wiggins also with an instrument.
Well, I know they got something special planned, the band does, here at halftime. But before we get there, with 2:58 to go, Fremont's going to come out and see if they can pick up 3 yards. 4th down for the Packers. Ramblers need to stay out of this neutral zone. Quick snap and met at the line. Driven back and piled up. Nothing doing. No need to measure this one. The Ramblers get a huge stop. Did not even get back to the line of scrimmage. And they will mark this ball back at the 40-yard line. So the McBain Rambler defense doing a great job. And they get the turnover on downs.
Well, that's one of those times where McBain just has to realize that you have a superior size on the line and strength, and just trust your ability instead of trying to jump the ball, or just trust it and make the push. And they did. And they were able to stop them. Let's see what the offense can do with the good situation.
Fortunately, going into the wind with 2:53 to go. 4 wideouts for Camphouse in the pistol. He'll give it to Ealing straight up the middle. Same run that he scored the touchdown on, and he's going up the left side. Got a blocker on the outside, and he's going to get dragged down after he gets into Fremont territory over the 40-yard line. Auden Ealing on the same play he scored from 46 yards out, nearly broke another one. But it'll be a 1st down for the Ramblers in Fremont territory at the 38-yard line.
And what a downfield block by Ethan Barton. He was 15 yards down the field, and Ealing actually put his hand on the back of Barton to kind of direct him which way he wanted the block to go.
I think Barton was trying to put his Packer opponent back on the bench. Pistol again. They'll give it to Ealing again, and this time the Packers do not want to see it happen again, as he is stopped abruptly at the line of scrimmage.
And on the tackle, number 63, Chris Redder.
It'll be 2nd and about 9. Give him about a yard.
And McBain's going quickly in the offense. Speed it up a little bit right now.
No huddle for the Ramblers. 4 wideouts again. Camphouse will fake it, keep it himself, try the left side. And he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Maybe a yard. They're going to keep the clock rolling. He did not get out of bounds on his own. So they will mark this. Can't use the near line judge because he and the headlinesman are not in sync at all. Mark it at the 37-yard line. Give him another yard. And now we got a Rambler timeout on the field. Minute 57 to go here in the first half. 13-7 McBain. Trying to put some points on the board before the end of the half. We'll take a 30-second break and be right back right after this.
Kelly's Pizza and Grill in McBain would like to take this opportunity to thank their loyal customers for all their years of support. It's with your patronage that Kelly's Pizza and Grill can continue to support local schools, churches, and charities, not to mention keep serving up great tasting breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. Open 6 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 6 till 10. Always doing their best to serve the McBain community. Kelly's Pizza and Grill, 100 Maple Street in the heart of McBain.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Zach Wiggins turning the dials for us back in the studio. 13-7 Ramblers with the lead over the Fremont Packers. Timeout on the field. They've got a 3rd and 9 coming up on the Fremont 37-yard line after Auden Ealing busted off a 20-plus yard run. And 2 straight dives into the middle of the line has not produced anything, and we'll see what's been dialed up here.
Well, it looks like you got a, what do you like to call this? A Wildcat offense with George Brown at quarterback?
Yeah, Brown with Ealing. Brown fakes the pass. Brown will try to get to the right edge, shoving down one defender and then dragged down. Nice job there by Stroven to hang on for dear life after George Brown tried to push his face mask back into his helmet. That was a vicious stiff arm from George Brown. Stroven then just went down and hung on for dear life on the leg and brought him down at the 35-yard line. So it was a short gain. It'll make it 4th and about 6 now for the Ramblers. And with 1:25 and ticking to go, they'll go ahead here. Packers scrambling to get into position. Trips to the left. Brown again at quarterback will run to his left. Brown using Ealing. He's got a 1st down and more. Brown up the left sideline, untouched. 10 into the end zone, but we do have, I hear there's a flag on the play.
There is right there on the 30-yard line on the far side. They're going to call it block in the back on the wide receiver.
It's landing right on the line makes it difficult to see. And it is going to be a block in the back on McBain, and that'll bring it back. So,
second touchdown called back by a penalty.
Yep. Well, the cynic would say that's why they scored. There was the cheating, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. 1:08 remaining here in the first half, and this is going to send McBain all the way back to the 40-yard line of Fremont. It'll make it 4th and about 11 now. And again, into the wind. Daniel Rodenbaugh is that Rodenbaugh being checked out in front of us there, Hawkeye?
Yeah, well, anytime a player's standing next to Fred, it's not a good thing.
That is never a good thing. My daughter just saw Fred.
And I think it's the shoulder.
So George Brown, the emergency quarterback now, trips to his right, which is probably just window dressing because he's just going to run to the right, get some decent blocking, has room over the 25-20, still on his feet, and finally dragged down out of bounds, and I believe he's got a 1st down. So George Brown, despite the obvious, I don't know, I'm going to assume George Brown can throw a football, but the unlikelihood of George Brown throwing the ball and wanting to run, Ramblers pick up a big 1st down with 59 seconds to go. Clock will stop as George Brown stepped out of bounds, and it's down on the 15-yard line now for McBain.
And George Brown has an arm. He is a baseball player, or he was his first 2 years here. And he can play. He played a 3rd base, so, you know, he has to have a quick release.
2 receivers either side now.
He can actually throw it pretty good. I don't know if he's very accurate.
Brown and Ealing in the backfield. Brown wants to throw. He will throw, and he's got him into the end zone. Touchdown! George Brown says, yeah, I can throw the football. Hits Justin Camphouse wide open in the end zone. It was almost like there was actually talk here in the press box, Hawkeye, that people might have heard questioning whether or not do you even bother covering the receivers. Apparently, you better.
You better.
George Brown just slung that one to Camphouse for the touchdown. Wow. George Brown to Justin Camphouse. And the Ramblers will go for 2 with 54 seconds remaining. Trips to the right. Brown rolling to his right, holding it like he wants to throw. He will throw it toward the corner for Rodenbaugh. Logan Rodenbaugh underthrown and incomplete. So the 2-point conversion fails, but with 54 seconds left, McBain leads it 19-7. We'll take a 30-second break and be back right after this.
The harsh northern Michigan winter is right around the corner, and that's why you need to heat your house with Holton's LP Gas. Call them today at 231-839-4600. You can contact the office for specials today. And if you're a new customer, they have specials for you as well. Holton's LP Gas has been in Lake City for 30 years, and don't worry, they service the entire listening area. They've got 24/7 live, trained professionals. Holton's LP Gas is a proud sponsor of McBain Athletics.
And welcome back to a drizzly, chilly McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. 54 seconds remaining here in the first half, and it's a 19-7 Rambler lead after George Brown III, the third-string quarterback tonight, finds Justin Camphouse in the end zone from 15 yards out. 2-point conversion fails, but the Ramblers now with a 12-point lead as George Brown, who's doing everything tonight. He's kicked an extra point. He's thrown for a touchdown pass, and he's got the kickoff duties. We'll send a low screamer that will bounce and be picked up just outside the 15-yard line. This is Stroven, and Stroven will get piled up at about the 23.
Number 20.
Jacob Bovin with a big tackle on that one for a 2-yard return. The senior coming down there and getting a big hit. Good to see him out there celebrating the end of his regular season career. And he's pumped up.
Well, we've only seen one pass thrown by junior quarterback Cody Andre, but with the wind to their back and 49 seconds to go, we might see a couple of attempts here.
Well, they like to hit you to the tight end and sneak it past you, but
he'll hand it off over the right edge and pushing the pile forward, maybe about 4. We'll call it the 27-yard line.
Number 32.
2nd and 6 for Fremont as they hustle to the line. 35 seconds and ticking to go.
Pass.
Passing, caught out at the 40-yard line and unable to get out of bounds, though, is Cody Moon, who stumbles to the ground under Justin Camphouse, and now Fremont will hustle to the line again. Clock will stop.
Tackle was number 2, Justin Camphouse.
For the chains. Nope, Fremont's going to call a timeout with 23 seconds remaining.
Fremont's timeout.
And they'll have a first down at their own 43-yard line.
Actually, Daniel Rodenbaugh was on the tackle on that one, and he's hanging his right arm. I don't know. That maybe we may not see much more of him tonight, especially after halftime.
If you can get away with George Brown for the rest of this game and get out of here with a win, no matter how close, I think you do it, don't you?
Yes, you do.
A reminder, you're listening to WCDY, McBain, Cadillac, Lake City. Jay Simon and Gary Hawkeye Vanna with you. Week 9 of the 2018 regular season. Ramblers looking to end it on a high note and hope that the chips fall their way and they host a pre-district playoff contest next week. We know they will be involved in one. Just don't know where and against whom. I know you're a math teacher. Is it against who or whom? It is whom. Right?
It's whom.
Yeah. Full house backfield for Fremont out of the timeout. Handoff.
Ouch.
And Stroven hit hard initially, bounced off the initial contact to a certain extent. Somehow, that's Owen Bonico. I'm not sure how you bounce off of Owen Bonico. Didn't shed him, but he managed to pick up a couple to the 45. Now Andre looking to pass, throwing quickly, and that is off the hands of Caden McGillis defending on the play.
Yeah, that last play, it was he bounced off Noah Henriksen, and then it looked like Bonico tried to just break him in half. He's like twig, half.
Pretty sure that's how Owen Bonico just tackles. I think that's how Owen Bonico
No, there's times they suplexes.
I think that's how Owen Bonico hugs.
Yeah, I can't wait to see at the dance tonight. If he's slow dancing, who's going to take out that one?
That's how he shows affection. 2.8 seconds remaining, so Fremont will get one more shot at the end zone as the Ramblers playing what looks like roughly a cover 4. They've got several green jerseys well off the line of scrimmage, try and make sure nobody gets behind them. Just 2 receivers, 1 receiver really, for Fremont as they'll try to set something out. It is a hook and ladder, and it is put on the turf, and it's picked up by McBain, and there is nobody. Oh, and he's going to get dragged down. What a great tackle.
It looked like he ran out of gas.
A little bit. There was a host of green jerseys. Was that Hendrickson that picked it up?
It looks like it was Rodenbaugh. Logan Rodenbaugh.
Yeah, Logan Rodenbaugh scooped up the fumble on the hook and ladder attempt by Fremont, and he got dragged down at around the 10-yard line. That's crazy. I couldn't get the number of the Packer that tackled him, but kudos to that Fremont Packer for 1, hustling, and 2, somehow snaking in between 7 green jerseys.
I thought it was Cody Andy.
Logan Rodenbaugh, was it?
Yeah, the quarterback.
It was impressive. In any case, that's how the first half will end. 19-7, the McBain Ramblers with the lead over the Fremont Packers. 1 half in the books, 1 half left to go. We'll take a break. First half analysis and stats from the best in the business, Hawkeye, right after this.
In the small town of McBain lies a locally owned family pharmacy that takes pride in helping improve the health of every patient that comes through the door. At McBain Family Pharmacy, you're more than just a prescription. Here, you're family, and their experienced team of professionals are always available to answer any questions you may have regarding prescription and over-the-counter medications. McBain Family Pharmacy is your full-service family pharmacy for both traditional and compound medications. Call them today at 231-825-8175. That's 231-825-8175. Or stop by their store, located at 119 North Roland Street in McBain.
McBain Rural Agricultural Schools offers a quality, well-rounded education for the whole child. McBain students have a technological head start from the beginning with their own issued MacBook or iPad. Rambler students are immersed in strong curriculum, including access to a large variety of vocational programs, a winning athletics program, and access to a new state-of-the-art performing arts center. Challenging competitive times require a challenging competitive education. Give your child the McBain advantage. McBain Rural Agricultural Schools.
Providing great service and quality to our customers, LC Materials is here for you and all your concrete and aggregate needs, both residential and commercial projects. We can assist you in estimates, sand and gravel needs, project details, and on-time delivery. LC Materials is also in Cadillac at the Concrete Store. The Concrete Store has building supplies, stone, block, tools, and other accessories to help you finish your project. So when you're ready, call LC Materials. We're ready when you are, online at lcmaterials.net. High school students are training for the jobs of tomorrow today at the Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center in Cadillac. Juniors and seniors from 12 area high schools can choose from 14 career-driven programs. Free college credit is available. Visit WMISD.org and click or tap the Career Technical Education link. See all the great programs, then talk to your student's counselor. Call 876-2200. The Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center on 13th Street across from Baker College. Proud to serve the students of McBain High School. CTC is the place to be.
We've all been there. We rely on our vehicles more than ever to get us where we need to go, safe and sound. McBain Auto Service is open Monday through Friday and are fully licensed and insured to serve you. With over 50 years combined experience, they specialize in everything from brakes to engine repair with no job too big or small. Stop in for a safety inspection. McBain Auto Service, located at 9438 South Maury Road in McBain, or call 231-825-2729.
When it's late, when it's snowing, when you just have to have it. It's nice knowing McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain is open 7 days a week, locally owned and operated with the friendliest cashiers helping to serve your grocery needs. From candy and chips to pop and munchies, McNally's Party Store, they're still keeping it cold. And wishing the McBain Ramblers good luck in tonight's game. That's McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain, open 7 days a week.
Halftime here at McBain High School, 19-7. The Ramblers with the lead. The McBain High School Marching Band entertaining the crowd here at McBain, featuring the world's greatest piccolo and sousaphone players in all of the state of Michigan. And we are not biased in the least. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna with you under the direction of drum major Mason Brown. Heather Wiggins, the band director here in McBain. This is it's a relatively good-sized marching band for a relatively small school, and I know I'm slightly biased, but I've watched them with other bands in northern Michigan. They are good. It's a good group of kids. They work hard.
Yep. Yep.
Stay right up here.
And it's awfully nice of the football team to be the warm-up act for the marching band. Their T-shirts like that, I think they have.
They did last year, didn't they?
They did. Well, the first half, 19-7, as mentioned, Ramblers with the lead, and it's been big plays. 68-yard touchdown run by backup quarterback Daniel Rodenbaugh, who got the start tonight for the injured Gavin Sealand. Auden Ealing has a 46-yard touchdown run. And then George Brown III, who came on after Daniel Rodenbaugh injured his shoulder, threw for a 15-yard touchdown after picking up a huge first down on 4th and long toward the end of that first half, finding Justin Camphouse in the back of the end zone for the 15-yard touchdown strike. He's also kicked an extra point. So it's been an impressive showing for George Brown III. I don't know if anybody's going to give an indication. This is the, I can share it now, I guess. We got a little flash mob action going on here. Heather Wiggins doesn't have any idea what they're doing, looking out at them. Why are you putting those down? They're dancing. That's good. That means it must be out there. This is an impromptu dance flash mob by the McBain High School Marching Band right now. I'm sure you can hear the music through our microphones. Every member of the band right now doing a little dancing out there. And they are loving this. Heather Wiggins, the band director, was so confused, had her hands out like, what are you kids doing? Mason Brown and the other seniors on this marching band were responsible for deciding to do this. I don't know if your boy talked about it at all, but it was all my daughter could talk about for the last 2 weeks.
No, he's kept it a secret. In fact, he doesn't talk to me about anything.
Little impromptu halftime entertainment for you here, folks.
Well, while you're watching this, how about I give some statistics?
If people can hear you, absolutely.
As we went through the first half, believe it or not, McBain has only got 3 first downs compared to Fremont's 11 first downs. But McBain is averaging 15.1 yards per play. That's pretty impressive. McBain has only had 1 pass out of 3 attempts completed, and Fremont also has 1 out of 3 completed. As we're going to get ready to announce the seniors, let me give you the statistics. Is George Brown is leading all quarterbacks at 1 for 1 with a 15-yard touchdown, and number 68508316 Daniel Rodenbaugh is 0 for 2.
Why is he that number?
I don't know if that's his football number or prison number, but the leading receiver with the only reception is Justin Camphouse with a 4-yard reception for a touchdown. Auden Ealing leads all rushers with number 4 is his number.
Oh, I thought you said a 4-yard reception.
15-yard reception. Maybe I got my numbers confused. Auden Ealing, number 8, leads all rushing with 83 yards. He had a 60-yard rush called back, or else he would have been around 140. But right now, 83 yards for him. Daniel Rodenbaugh has 4 carries for 74 yards, and George Brown III has 3 carries for 39 yards. Defense is being led by Justin Camphouse with 5 tackles. Owen Bonico has 3 tackles, 5 assists. Logan Rodenbaugh, 3 tackles, 2 assists, and a scoop and almost score.
Still don't know how that happened. Somebody failed Logan. He should have been able to basically skip into the end zone. That should have
maybe if he started skipping, he could have got in there when he was. No.
There should have been a multitude of defenders surrounding him and looking to make sure that nobody was going to touch him. Hey, this is the halftime show here in McBain, brought to you by the fine folks at McBain Hardware. Stop by, see Ron or Tyler for all your hardware needs. As Gary's brother-in-law will tell you, hey, if McBain Hardware doesn't have it, you don't need it.
That's exactly right. In fact, they have this cool tool set on sale. It's a floor model, and I am trying to see if we can get that. But I tell you what, they're ready to move some inventory, and they are got the fantastic selection of Milwaukee products, and Milwaukee equals quality, and quality is what you get when you go to McBain Hardware.
You don't get live reads better than that, folks. No question about that. Our thanks to McBain Hardware for their support of tonight's broadcast. Also want to thank Wexford Missaukee Career Tech Center, High Flow Performance, and the McBain and Lake City Family Pharmacies for their support of McBain Athletics here on 107.9 CDY. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. We've got the seniors in the marching band being announced and presented some flowers with their parents. I don't know how many seniors the marching band has.
Well, it's all the people across the front.
How am I going to do this next 2 years from now, Hawkeye?
How are you going to do that?
You'll have to handle the
hopefully
halftime show.
With Kleenex, because you will be in tears.
Is that what happens?
Well, you will be when you're seeing your daughter excel and perform as well as she has on this year, and when she finally gets done, you will be in tears. But that's okay. The following year, I'll take your role.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And I definitely will be in tears.
You'll have to do the halftime show.
So, little brag story though. I'm going to tell you.
Please.
Last week in band, Alex had to do a performance of his part by memory, and he crushed it.
Nice.
And they turned and they said, "Can we applaud?" And the teacher said, "Yes." And they all applaud. And Alex, in the most emotion, goes, "Yay!"
That sounds like Alex. It really does.
And that was the extent of it. Hey, I don't know if you noticed on the sideline, but it was really great to see Judy K. Gildy back on the sideline. You know the story?
No, I don't.
Well, about 3 weeks ago.
Even if I did, I'd say I don't, so you tell
About 3 weeks ago, she was having a little bit of problem in her left eye, and the vision was getting a little bit blurry.
Ooh,
to make a short story long, her retina became detached and tore in 2 different places.
Oh, my goodness.
A week ago, they had to have emergency surgery for Judy K, and they had to put a sac in there filled with fluid to reattach the retina.
Wow.
And it's going to have to be slowly wait for that to dissolve into the eye, but they'd have the pressure on there so the retina could reattach. And they're hoping that she'll get the majority of her vision back, but she was back out here tonight because she just can't miss McBain events. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, choir, or just kids running around.
Well, now she doesn't have to close one eye to shoot photos, though, right?
Well, I saw her down here, and she goes, "Hey, Gary, thanks that you're going to say something about me tonight." I said, "Wow, you recognize me? You want to know, with one eye, do I look thinner if I turn sideways or something like that?" Because it's easier if I just knock out one eye and everybody, if I can look thinner than actually to lose the weight. But
you gotta laugh, or else you'll cry.
Yes. So good to see her in health. She's in great spirits, and looking for improvement, but the official photographer and the Judy K. Gildy picture perfect play of the game. Good to see her back on the sideline. And she did give me permission to say that story earlier today.
I don't doubt that she did. Also want to remind you that live streaming of McBain Rambler football is available. Head over to 1079cdy.com. Click on the game logo over on the right-hand side. It'll allow you to listen to us anywhere in the world where you got a solid internet connection. We've had listeners literally around the world. Military overseas. It's been crazy, the types of places that have listened in, and we appreciate that. That's brought to you by McLean Transmissions. For anything transmission related and for quality used cars, head on over to McLean Transmissions on LaChance Road between Cadillac and Lake City. Call 779-1394. That's 779-1394. It is blustery out there. Still here at halftime, the McBain Hardware halftime show here in McBain. We still got about another 5 or 6 minutes left of halftime. 19-7, Ramblers with the lead over the Fremont Packers. And as Hawkeye ran down the stats, hopefully you heard those during the flash mob that the marching band was putting on. It's remarkable when you consider that Fremont has 3 times as many first downs in this game, but it's McBain with the 12-point lead because of the big plays.
Well, you know, that is true, but Fremont's only score actually came out on a big play also. That was a 40-yard run up the middle there. So it's
50, actually, now that I remember. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But they were on the
But the thing is that everything's been except for that last drive, has been a big play scoring drive. Hey, we got our Pizza Plus Cadillac Viking Sports update as at halftime, Traverse City is up 27 to Cadillac's 0.
Yeah, been a rough season for the Vikings, unfortunately, but I know.
And I think that's West, isn't it?
I thought it was Central.
Okay, Central.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember. You'd think I'd know because I did the Pizza Plus Viking update on Monday, but I can't recall now if that was Central or West. In any case, it has definitely been a rough season. It is going to end tonight as the Vikings will not be advancing to the playoffs, but some injury bugs. I know Tip Baker out with an injury for much of the second half of the season, their quarterback, and heart and soul over there. And hopefully he's going to be healthy and back and available for basketball season. The Vikings should be a pretty solid contender in the Big North in basketball as they bring back a talented group of seniors that have been on that varsity since their sophomore year, have played extensive minutes. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they're capable of. I can tell you from personal first-hand experience that Cale Mickelson is ready for basketball season, as I have watched him blow by me for free layups on the occasional pickup game. So Vikings should be a fun team to watch in basketball this season. But
speaking of basketball,
yeah,
do you know where else you can go for all your basketball McBain coverage?
Where?
Right here on 107.9 CDY.
Are you kidding me?
As most of the games, Jay and I, we might be rotating some other people in here just to share the magic. We'll be bringing to you a 10-game slate of basketball games, the best road matchups that we can find to really, so you don't have to drive in the winter, but you can sit back with a cup of hot chocolate underneath the blanket, listen to Jay's beautiful voice, and I'll keep you awake with my screeching. But you can listen to us. We have a 10-game schedule out. We'll get that out on the website as soon as possible. But just wanted you to realize basketball's not too far away. Hopefully we have another 6 to 7 weeks of football, but then basketball will kick in right away, especially since the season switched. The boys go first.
Yes, that's true this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. You get a week head start on the girls. Both teams are back out on the field, warming up. Packers to the north end of the field, Ramblers in front of their bench right in front of us.
Do you realize that McBain's football team makes it to the state finals? They already have 2 basketball games in before the football team's done.
I'm pretty sure that Coach Maloney would talk to Coach Copeman about not having a basketball team, basically. Use your JVers or something. Right?
Well, that's exactly right, but I'm just saying.
It'd be JVers playing the varsity schedule for those first 2 games, I'm sure. And Coach Copeman would do that happily. Yes. He would absolutely do that happily if the Ramblers were to advance that far. There are some definite roadblocks in the way, even at the regional level, for McBain. Also in the playoffs from the Highland Conference, Pine River punched their ticket last week with a win, as did Lake City actually back in week 6. Lake City still undefeated at 8-0, looking to finish off a second perfect season in a row, regular season, with a win tonight. And the latest Snooze to You updates would have both Pine River and Lake City in the same district, but at Division 6, and McBain at Division 7. But of course, we'll have to see how that shakes out. They basically look for 256 teams. There's 32 teams per division. In the 8 divisions, the question then is, how many automatic qualifiers do you have? Teams that won at least 6 games on a 9-game schedule or 5 games on an 8-game schedule. How many teams do you have, and then how many teams do you need to fill in? And they'll start looking at 5 and 4 teams, 4 and 3 teams, or 4 and 4 and 5 and 4 teams to find out where they will fill that in. They'll do it equitably across the 8 divisions. And from there, they will round it out, and then they draw out the districts. And drawing out the districts tends to be the exciting part. As I mentioned, Snooze knows who those 256 teams will be. He's able to get those teams correct. It's the district pairings that always become very interesting and questionable. He will put that out if you go to snooze2you.com. It's snooze, the number 2, YOU.com. He will put that out on his website, I want to say by tomorrow night, depending on if there's any Saturday games.
Right.
Certainly by Sunday morning, he will work feverishly to have that out there. So if you want to check that out and see what his guess is, you'll know for sure what division McBain will be in, but we won't know who they're playing or what district they're in for sure until the MHSA's selection show on Sunday night.
Well, he wouldn't have to work so hard if he took an intern.
I have to assume that his day job is some sort of data analysis, math nerdery.
Why does it have to be math and nerdery in the same sentence?
Because you're a math teacher?
Okay. Then I would argue, why are you being redundant?
Fremont will fake the onside kick. And now get ready. The second half, boot to ball underway as the kick will slide up the right sideline, picked up by Justin Camphouse, who will try all the way around the right edge. He's got some blocking ahead of him, and he will get dragged down. Nice tackle. And brought down by Christian Alvear with a nice tackle, but Camphouse will bring it out to the 40-yard line, 42, and that's where McBain will start the second half. 19-7, Ramblers with the lead as we get the second half underway.
Big lead block on that return by Logan Rodenbaugh. He really paved the way to get Justin Camphouse an extra 15 yards.
Trips to the left for the Ramblers. As George Brown is back at quarterback, he'll hand it off to Ealing. Ealing with room to run around the left edge. Stiff arm on Christian Kennedy, and then finally pushed out of bounds after crossing midfield into Packer territory. It's going to be very close to a first down, depending on where they mark this.
Now you didn't.
It's going to be just shy, so it'll be second down and short for McBain.
You didn't see this, but Berkmos took the cornerback, who's 12 yards off of him, and he started blocking him, and he pushed him back another 15 yards before he just hand chucked him and hit him hydroplane another 4 more.
So George Brown still at quarterback for the Ramblers. He'll give this to Ealing, and Ealing is going to get dragged down in the backfield.
There you go. And that's how
It's a penetration by the Packers.
Number 8 on Nailing with a carry.
And that will drag him back to the original line of scrimmage, actually. So a 9-yard loss. Back into McBain territory at the 42, so it'll be 3rd and 10. It's as if those two plays just didn't exist. Two receivers either way now for Brown with Ealing in the backfield. Brown wants to throw. Throwing quickly into the slot. Has a man. Camphouse makes a man miss. Camphouse with another shed tackle. And then dragged down from behind, but not before getting out to the 41-yard line of Fremont. As a nice little bullet right in the numbers by George Brown III will give the Ramblers a first down at the 41 of Fremont.
Yeah, that was into the wind. That's a pretty tough throw to make, but he did hit Camphouse. Him and the two of them have a little connection going on that's looking good.
Well, hopefully Daniel Rodenbaugh is not going to get Wally pipped here. Pistol formation as Brown will fake the handoff. Brown around the left edge with room, first down and more before being pushed out of bounds. Got to constantly look for a flag because there's been so many away from the run, but nothing there as Brown's got another first down up at around the 27-yard line of Fremont. So George Brown III really doing a fantastic job under center for the Ramblers here late in the first and now here early in the second half. 10-17 to go in the third.
Offensive line's doing a great job controlling the line of scrimmage right now.
Trips to the right now for Brown. Brown will immediately run the draw. It's around the right side. Now turns upfield, runs right into one defender. And will gain a bit more. Keep him about the 24-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. I can hear the young men on the Rambler Review, Hawkeye, talking about George and what he brings to the quarterback position. They seem to be very impressed with his physicality. He certainly doesn't shy away from contact.
Oh, he's never shied away from contact. In fact, he seeks it out most of the time. Right now, I want to let you know, Manton update. Rogers City up 14-0 on Manton.
This time the handoff to Logan Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh, we got a flag in the middle. Rodenbaugh over the 20-yard line. Back judge throwing the flag, though, and we're going to get a hold, I assume, on McBain. That referee's Kevin Taylor, isn't it?
Yes.
I can just tell. Kevin Taylor has very unique mannerisms. I can just tell that that's him refereeing. So the spot foul will send the Ramblers back. That's another refereeing thing.
Oh, at halftime right now, Lake City's up 27-7. So they look like they're.
Who do they got tonight? I don't even remember.
They don't have Morley, right? No.
I don't think so.
Anyways, they're looking at capping up a perfect season. They're home.
Brown on the option. Pitches it out to Ealing. Ealing makes a man miss. Ealing's still on his feet, has near the first down marker, but he stepped out of bounds somewhere. It's going to be very close to a first down.
And that looks like
we have an injured Rambler.
There's only one guy that big.
20.
That's Outman, isn't it?
Yeah, and they pulled him up off the ground as Fred comes out to take a look at him. He's able to walk, but he's holding that left arm. 9:03 to go here in the third. It looks like he stepped out of bounds at around the 23-yard line, so it'll be third down now. Excuse me, I said 23. Oh, it is the 23.
Lucas Colton jumps in to take over for Caleb Outman's position, but that's weird because that's the second shoulder that we've seen Fred examine.
So third and about 6 now for McBain as we get inside 9 minutes to go here in the third. Brown will keep it himself. George Brown straight up the middle, hanging on to it, fighting over the 20, fighting for the 17 or so, and they're going to stop him very close to the first down marker. If anything, it's going to be a 4th and short for McBain coming up.
About 8 yards. Tackle number 60, Austin Conrad.
Tell you what, McBain's gone through the season pretty well injury-free, but right now you got 2 starters on game 9 on the sideline, and now you're starting tackle, and nose guard is sitting on the sideline having his shoulder checked out, and you're down to your third-string quarterback.
2 backs for Brown. He's going to hand it off to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh will punch it up toward the 15-yard line, and this should be a first down. And it is a first down for McBain.
Tell you what, I'm watching this little battle between the 75 and 76, and you got Owen Bonico. He just has his own little personal beef going on out there with Chaz Weeder, and they're just like a heavyweight fight, just going after each other.
Brown again with Rodenbaugh and Ealing in the backfield. 2 receivers to his left. He's going to fake it, try around the left side. Stiff arm gets him to the edge, but then a nice tackle by Kennedy. Christian Kennedy going low to make sure George Brown could not get the edge.
Yeah, they cut out his feet at the line of scrimmage, and he falls down for a 4-yard gain.
Tackle number 4, Christian Kennedy.
7:20 to go. Trying to pick up some football sounds. We didn't have a microphone outside with the windows shut. Let's see if we can get something other than wind.
Yeah, how about
there's some crowd? There's some crowd. Okay. I know there's a crowd out there. Now we can hear some of it. Trips to the right for Brown. Camp House in motion. Brown fakes to Ealing, wants to throw over the middle, caught over the outstretched arms of Kennedy. Logan Rodenbaugh with the catch. Touchdown, Ramblers. 14-yard touchdown pass. And with 6:52 left in the third, it's a 25-7 lead now for McBain as George Brown III with his second TD pass of the game.
Yeah, and another big deal is that Caleb Outman's back out in the game for the Ramblers.
2-point attempt. Brown with Ealing and Rodenbaugh behind him. We'll give it to Ealing. Ealing straight up the middle, and he's into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. So with 6:52 remaining here in the third quarter, McBain with a 27-7 lead over the Fremont Packers. We'll take a 30-second break and be back right after this.
Stop into High Point Auto and Truck Center in Cadillac for a great selection of new GMC and Cadillacs. High Point is your premier source for parts, services, tires, accessories, and new and certified used vehicles. We are your one-stop shop for every vehicle need that you may have. At High Point Auto and Truck, customer satisfaction is our goal. High quality, high standards, but low prices at High Point Cadillac GMC, located at exit 177 in Cadillac.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Zach Wiggins turning the dials for us back in the studio. 6:52 to go here in the third quarter. McBain with a 27-7 lead over the Fremont Packers after George Brown III, your third-string quarterback. It's just fun to say that. Doesn't really mean as much at the high school level necessarily, but Gavin Seeland out with an injury. Daniel Rodenbaugh got the start tonight. Rodenbaugh with a shoulder injury. He is in the game, I think.
So is it him? George Brown, the third string?
Yeah, George Brown, third string. Daniel Rodenbaugh is in the game. He's on special teams here on this kickoff, as the kickoff is fumbled and then picked up and fallen on, so Fremont will take over at their own 31. Rodenbaugh's in the game. However, George Brown is taking all the snaps now on offense.
I was trying to make a pun on the fact
I got it. Yeah, it was good. No, it was good.
I thought you didn't.
No, I got it. It was good. I had too many things. I had too many things I was trying to do at the same time. That's my fault. That's my fault. Fremont's ball at their own 31-yard line. We'll take a quick moment and thank Burkholder Family Funeral Home, McBain Auto Service, Holton's LP Gas, and the Falmouth Co-op for their support of tonight's broadcast. Couldn't do it without them. Full house backfield for the Packers. Handoff right side. This is Stroven again, and Stroven is gone. Touchdown Packers. For the second time tonight, Zane Stroven bursting through the right side of the line, and once he got into the secondary, there was no secondary. Stroven pulling away from even the fastest Rambler out on the field, and he is into the end zone for a 69-yard touchdown run. And just like that, it's a 27-13 Rambler lead.
There's only one guy that could catch him on that play, and that was actually the near line judge, because I don't know if you saw him running down the line, but he actually beat him to the end zone to call the touchdown.
Yeah, he had a head start. Extra point attempt from Wyatt Costra. Good snap, good hold, good kick. 6:40 remaining, just 12 seconds it took the Fremont Packers to answer, and it's a 27-14 McBain lead. Zane Stroven with 2 touchdown runs now of 50 and 69 yards.
Well, you know, before this, McBain's defense was averaging 14 points a game, only giving up over 20 points once all season. But then last week against Lakeview, they gave up 20 points. And then this week, another quick team getting some big points on there. They're right about the average where McBain will give up 2 scores, and that's about it. So let's see if McBain's defense can solidify the rest of this game.
Well, it's one of those things where I am quite certain that Coach Pat Maloney, while he would like to, see positive things out of his team, it's more about getting out of this injury-free as possible at this point, and don't put anything else on film that you don't want anybody to see, right?
And you want the win. You want to be at home next week.
Yeah, you want the win. 2-score lead, your hope is you could do that, but I would expect to see a heavy dose of rushing here. Packers have twice now
hope they're ready
out of the group, and they will not. The idea with that, I guess, Hawkeye, is to fake it enough times that you put them to sleep on it and then you use it later.
Yeah, and the JV did that last night against the McBain JV, where they did that 3 times and they finally did do the onside kick.
Kick fielded at the 10 and taken up to about the 30-yard line is Caden McGillis. And that's where the Ramblers will take over at their own 31-yard line, leading 27-14 with 6.5 minutes to go here in the third.
And on the stop, number 44, Dylan Percy.
George Brown, the third string quarterback, as Hawkeye so punnily put earlier, with Auden Ealing in the backfield. He'll hand it off to Ealing. Ealing around the right side with some space, makes a man miss, and then dragged down. Nice tackle there by the big fella, Chaz Weeder.
Number 8.
Chaz Weeder basically put a paw on the ball, and it forced Ealing to immediately just go to the turf. He didn't want to get ripped away from him.
But that's your defensive tackle making the tackle 12 yards down the field.
That's good hustle. 44-yard line. That's a 13-yard gain for Auden Ealing and a first down for the Ramblers. Logan Rodenbaugh now joins Ealing in the backfield in this pistol formation. 2 receivers to the left. Brown wanted to give it to Ealing. Option play, tries to keep himself, and he will hang on to it and go down back at the 42-yard line as the Packers sniff that one out. Loss of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 12. Coming up for McBain as we hit the 6-minute mark here in the third quarter.
And on the stop, number 6.
Should point out, Hawk, I don't know if maybe we just figure it's understood, but wherever McBain is next week, where will you be able to hear that?
You'll be able to hear it right here on 107.9 WCDY, or you can hear it online, brought to you by McLean Transmission.
Trips to the right for the Ramblers. George Brown in the backfield with Auden Ealing. Handoff is to Ealing up the middle, and Ealing with not much there. Apparently, the ball came out, and the Ramblers got it back. But it's going to bring up 3rd and long now for McBain at the 43-yard line. 3rd and about 11 for the Ramblers. 5:14 to go here in the third quarter. Tough going out there right now, and I would expect
unbalanced offensive line as Skolton moves over to the far side. There's only one man on this side of the center.
Trips to the near side as George Brown will immediately pull it down and try to run for this one as he gets a block on the outside, but a nice job. Zane Stroven, who has the 2 long touchdown runs for the Packers, made a great tackle as he was being blocked. And as Brown tried to go by, just reached out, got an arm on him, and pulled him down. It's a nice job by Stroven, holding him to a yard pickup. Actually, will make it the 45. Noah Hendrickson back to punt. And Hendrickson will get this off. Beautiful punt with nobody back to field it. This is going to bounce and die at the 13-yard line. So Fremont will take over at their own 13. That was a low snap. I'm telling you, man, somebody at the next level has got to take Noah Hendrickson, coach him up, turn him into a punter.
You know, unfortunately, punters and kickers are dime a dozen at that level. It's so hard to separate yourself, and there's such few opportunities that you can use them.
Yeah, but the thing is Noah could probably do some other things. Big enough. You could use him some other way. Punter that size, come on. That's a novelty, right? No?
Your Pizza Plus Cadillac Vikings scoring update is Traverse City up 41-0 running clock.
Yeah, not good. Full house backfield for Fremont. Handoff is up the middle and piled up and dragged down. Actually might have lost a yard. Taken back to the 12.
Brandon Taylor with a carry in on the tackle.
Taylor dragged down by the Ramblers.
Number 62, Lucas Skolton.
Even with the wind, sorry, Hawkeye.
No, go ahead.
Even with the wind right now, it just doesn't look like McBain is fearing the passing game of the Packers.
No, not at all. They've had a little bit of success, but they haven't been able to spring a big one, not like the run.
No, their best weapon so far has been Zane Stroven. Stroven is your left tailback of the full house. As the handoff is to Stroven. Nope, that is not Stroven. That is Cortland Carson.
Number 5, Cortland
taking it out over the 35, over the 25, shy of the 30. Actually going to mark him down at the 25-yard line, but that's enough for a Fremont first down as we get down to 3:15 to go here in the third quarter. Carson and Stroven in the backfield along with Taylor. Andrews, handoff on the right side. Is the ball on the turf? Somebody diving for the ball. This is just diving to tackle George Brown the third. Couldn't tell if he was trying to tackle or saw the ball on the turf.
You know, the first hand on that was Owen Bodico. He was engaged in a block, and he reached his arm around the shoulder of the guy blocking him to grab onto the ball carrier, but it was eventually knocked or slowed him down so that the Ramblers can clean up that play.
Two and a half to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 8 for Fremont as they go right to left. Andrews hands it off. This is Taylor, I believe. And not much going there, shy of the 30-yard line. Move the microphone back behind the wind.
Brandon Taylor with carry. Left side of the line. Stopped him with a 2-yard carry. Brings up 3rd.
Key play for McBain here. If they can get a stop, they should be able to run out the quarter.
One and 50 remaining here in the third. 3rd and 6 now. From the 29. We got a flag on the play.
Delay game?
Yep. False start on Fremont, so that's going to send them back and make it 3rd and 11 now.
5-yard penalty brings
from
up
their own 24. So if they were trying to see if they get the Ramblers to jump after 2 early false start, or 2 early offsides calls and 1 encroachment. Ramblers have been pretty disciplined since then. Assuming Coach Pace getting into some ear holes.
That's exactly what's going on.
Full house backfield again. Andrews wants to pass, throwing over the middle and way too high. Largely because Owen Bonico was coming to meet Andrews on the throw.
Brings up 4th and 11.
And that'll make it 4th down and long now for Fremont. Tough to throw a pass when Owen Bonico is bearing down on you, no doubt about it.
Well, who do you think we should have back as our punt returner?
Well, I think if he's already kicking off, kicking extra points, throwing touchdown passes, and rushing for 4th and long first downs, why not let him return punts too?
There you go. How about George Brown, the 3rd string quarterback, back deep?
Christian Kennedy will punt. That's how deep a team is when you can take your 3rd string quarterback and put him back to be the punt returner. As the sidelong kick will be a solid one, and George Brown III will let it bounce. It'll take a Fremont bounce and be downed at the 30-yard line of McBain. So the Ramblers defense does its job, and with 1:02 remaining here in the third, the Ramblers will take over with a 27-14 lead.
Well, McBain, nice long drive to salt away. This one would be great to hear. Getting in the end zone would be even better. And it looks like we're going to see a Bam Bam take some offensive snaps.
All right, so Justin Camphouse comes off. George Brown III still at quarterback, so Noah Hendrickson and Auden Ealing now in the backfield with just a single receiver on the near side. That is Garrett Verberkmos, who has not been targeted tonight. Brown rushing around the right, gets a nice block from Hendrickson, finds some space, spinning, cutting, and will be pulled down over the 45-yard line, but there's a flag back in the area. And based on Garrett Verberkmos's body language, I'm going to say that it's probably against the Ramblers. And it is.
Preliminary call was holding.
Yeah, that's one of those where you have a guy engaged, and then when he tries to spin away from you to get to the tackle and you're still trying to engage him, then you start to call.
Yep, the holding on the inside of the pad sort of thing. Keep your hands on the inside, like you said before. If you keep your hands on the inside, you're probably okay. It's when they start to pull away from you and you're keeping them from pulling away from you that becomes the issue.
And when you're on an island.
Yes, yeah, and you're exposed to that extent. That makes it very difficult. So the penalty will mark it at about the 22-yard line with 40 seconds left. Ramblers likely the last snap of the third quarter. Brown in the pistol. Hendrickson and Ealing behind him. Brown will keep it again. Brown up the right side. He's got room. 40-45 midfield. And undercut again by Christian Kennedy, who does a nice job of just taking the legs out, but not before George Brown picks up a huge first down with 24 seconds remaining here in the third. He is into Packer territory at the 46-yard line. Big run by George Brown, 32-yard run by George Brown. 10 seconds remaining here in the third. Looks like we're going to get one more snap.
It's going to be tight.
It is. They're all looking at the clock. Back judge not indicating 5 seconds left, and that will do it. So 3 quarters in the books. The McBain Ramblers with a 27-14 lead over the Fremont Packers. 12 minutes remaining in this one. Can the Ramblers finish on a high note? We'll find out right after this.
Making the final arrangements for a loved one is never easy. At Burkholder Family Funeral Home in McBain, they can help you get through the process one step at a time. Serving the families in McBain and the surrounding communities for over 40 years, they take pride in providing exceptional services that families can actually afford. The caring and compassionate staff at Burkholder Family Funeral Home can help ease the burden. Burkholder Family Funeral Home. Visit them today at 211 North Pine Street in McBain or call 231-825-8191.
McBain Rural Agricultural Schools offers a quality, well-rounded education for the whole child. McBain students have a technological head start from the beginning with their own issued MacBook or iPad. Rambler students are immersed in strong curriculum, including access to a large variety of vocational programs, a winning athletics program, and access to a new state-of-the-art performing arts center. Challenging competitive times require a challenging competitive education. Give your child the McBain advantage. McBain Rural Agricultural Schools.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye. Vanna Ramblers with a 27-14 lead as we start the final quarter. McBain with a first down at the 46-yard line of the Fremont Packers. As Logan Rodenbaugh takes the first handoff across the 45 up to the 44-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8 now for McBain. George Brown, the third string quarterback, is in at QB after Gavin Seeland with a knee injury and Daniel Rodenbaugh with a shoulder injury, both out of the game. Daniel Rodenbaugh has continued to play defense, but we have taken him out on offense, and George Brown III has done a nice job as he is going to go for it all. What a throw to the corner. Caught on the run and stepping out of bounds at the 5-yard line. George Brown III completing to Garrett Verberkmos on a streak. And I'll tell you what, I was just about to say, Hawkeye, the thing that really gets me with George, he looks so nonchalant. He just, even his handoffs, it's casual. And that was a casual rope, frozen rope to Garrett Verberkmos on the run. And he steps out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It's a first down, 39-yard connection. Brown to Verberkmos. Brown now will hang on to this one and put his head down, trying to take it in himself, and he'll be stopped after a couple of yard gain. It'll be 2nd and goal now from about the 3. But man, what a throw.
Yeah, that was a small window to put that ball in there too, because Verberkmos was covered.
Well, and the best part about it, I know he had the wind on that throw. However, that being said, it looked effortless from Brown. And what too many of our quarterbacks have done, especially without a lot of time to throw. That's the other thing. Give the offensive line credit. George had a lot of time to throw that ball, but Verberkmos is tough to overthrow. because he's so long. Brown wants to throw. There's a flag on the play. Brown will plow his way into the end zone, but we'll see what the flag is on the interior. Looks like we're going to get another hold on the Ramblers. So this is going to come back, and I think we're going to be looking at second and goal back at the 15. And George Brown, the third Hawkeye, is now walking off the field with his right arm dead to his side. This is not a good sign for McBain. Who do you put out there now?
Bam Bam.
So you put Noah Hendrickson now in at quarterback. I think Justin Campos would be a quarterback too, wouldn't he?
Justin Campos should be your quarterback at this point.
Well, let's see if the fourth string
I think you're right. So Bam Bam goes out to play tailback. George Brown III, as he plowed into the end zone, fell on that shoulder. Now he is using that right arm. He is limping a smidge.
Second and 15.
I'll tell you, Hawkeye, it's, yeah. 10:07 to go here in the third. Camphouse is now taken over at quarterback, pistol formation. Justin Camphouse will hand it off to Hendrickson, and Hendrickson trying the right side of the line. Not much there. Driven back because Noah will not go down.
Noah Hendrickson with carry.
And it will take him to about the 13-yard line. They were back at the 15 after the penalty.
In on the stop.
Well, Daniel Rodenball is going back into quarterback right now.
Well, I guess as long as you don't let him run the ball, that's fine.
Ball will be placed on the 13-yard line.
Rodenbaugh's gone back out, but Camphouse is still out there. They're both looking at Maloney for the call. It looks like Rodenbaugh's going to go over to receiver.
Wow.
So Daniel Rodenbaugh now the receiver in the slot on the left side as the Ramblers go right to left. Camphouse in the shotgun with Ealing. They'll give it to Ealing. Ealing around the right side, wide open and into the end zone. Touchdown, Ramblers. What a well-designed, I don't know if Rodenbaugh just drew the attention of the Packers because he was over somewhere they didn't expect him to be or what. He's still holding that right arm as if it's dead on his side. And Ealing just took that handoff and just blew into the end zone around the right edge. Everybody is limping, Hawkeye. Here comes Verberkmos to the sideline with a hitch in his giddy-up.
I think what we're going to do is try and kick it with our backup kicker.
There may not be any practice this week for the Ramblers.
Well, the good thing is JV's done, so you're bringing them up. There
you go. Hendrickson straight ahead, no good as he pulls that to the left. But with 9:08 to go, the McBain Ramblers, what's left of them, have a 33-14 lead with 9:08 remaining. We'll take a 30-second break and be right back after this.
In the small town of McBain lies a locally owned family pharmacy that takes pride in helping improve the health of every patient that comes through the door. At McBain Family Pharmacy, you're more than just a prescription. Here, you're family, and their experienced team of professionals are always available to answer any questions you may have regarding prescription and over-the-counter medications. McBain Family Pharmacy is your full-service family pharmacy for both traditional and compound medications. Call them today at 231-825-8175. That's 231-825-8175, or stop by their store located at 119 North Roland Street in McBain.
9:08 remaining in this one here at McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Havana, Noah Zach Wiggins. Turning the dials for us back in the studio. 33-14 is the McBain lead as the Ramblers have gone to their fourth string quarterback in this game for at least a play or two. Justin Camphouse coming out and taking the place of George Brown, the third string quarterback, who would replace Daniel Rodenbaugh, who had replaced Gavin Seelan to start the game. There will be a quiz later as George is back out on the field and will kick this off. And this is going to go out of bounds. And so the Packers will take over right there, the 43-yard line.
Play, kickoff out of bounds.
But between Garrett Verberkmos battling an ankle injury, although you would never have guessed it, in that 39-yard hookup with George Brown III. What a great frozen rope thrown by George, and Verberkmos basically just outrunning, sprinting by his defender. The defender had a step on him. Verberkmos found another gear to haul that in. And it led to an Auden Ealing 13-yard touchdown run, which sounds weird when you say that Verberkmos caught that ball at the 5. Such is the nature of holding penalties. I don't know how many the Ramblers have tonight, but there have been a number of them. In any case, Fremont now going against the wind, left to right. Full house backfield as they have used most of the night, occasionally thrown a double wing into it. Here's the handoff to Zane Stroven. Stroven has the two.
Number 6, Zane Stroven.
Sorry, that's actually Taylor. Sorry, that was Brandon Taylor on the run.
Brandon Taylor with a carry and on the stop.
I convinced the PA announcer that it was Stroven. That was my bad. Stroven with 2 big touchdown runs, 50 and 69 yards, but that is all the Packer offense thus far tonight. 2nd and 7 now for Fremont. George Brown trying to time it. Andrews hands it off up the middle, and this is going to be close to a first down as Stroven takes it over midfield into McBain territory.
Number 4, Case Brown is on tackle. Brings up 3rd and 1.
Jacob Ovechek's in the game to give George Brown a little bit of a rest and maybe a little healing.
3rd and short now for the Packers. Just 2 backs and a single wing now behind Andrews. Andrews will hand it off to Taylor around the left edge. Taylor backed up, and he may not have this. I think he got stopped short.
He ran into a little Bonico action, and he just got stood up and then thrown back.
Brandon Taylor stopped actually for a loss of a yard, taken back to the 49. So it's going to bring up 4th and a long 2 now for Fremont. 7.5 to go in the game.
Daniel Maloney checks in the game at defensive tackle for the Ramblers.
Obviously, the Packers will go for this. Might see the quarterback sneak from Andrews. If they quick snap, they do. Andrews will take it forward, and he's got the first down. They've done that twice now, and it's been effective for him.
Number 8, Cody Andre with a carry.
Stroven went to the ground.
Number 16, Joshua Hart.
Excuse me, that's not Stroven. 5 and 6 get mixed up. Courtland Carson went to the ground a little bit roughly. He gets up and gets back to the huddle. But Andrews, for the 2nd time tonight, following his center and picks up the first down. First down at the 44 now of McBain for the Packers. 7 minutes remaining in this one. Andrews again with the full house backfield behind him. Andrews wants to pass. Looking, throwing over the middle. Has a man wide open. It's Stroven. Stroven to the left edge, trying to make a man miss. Does. Stiff arm, and will take it over the 15, inside the 10, and it's going to be 1st and goal for the Fremont Packers, as Zane Stroven found himself all alone on the left side in the secondary. Nowhere near him were any green jerseys. And Stroven has given the Packers 1st and goal as they quickly come to the line with a no-huddle offense, and that forces McBain to call a timeout. 6:40 remaining here in the ball game. 33-14 McBain. Timeout, though, and a 1st and goal coming up for the visiting Fremont Packers. I want to remind you one more time, if you're leaving our listening area, you can listen to us streaming live anywhere in the world where you can get a decent internet connection. Just head over to 107.9Wcdy.com. Click on the game logo over on the right-hand side, and you can hear the dulcet tones of Hawkeye anywhere in the world. Live streaming of McBain Rambler football brought to you by McLean Transmissions. For anything transmission related and for quality used cars, head on over to McLean Transmissions on LaChance Road between Cadillac and Lake City. Call 779-1394. That's 779-1394. Our thanks again to McLean Transmissions, White Pine Outdoor Boilers, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, Northern Truck Service, Huttinga Electric, Judy K. Gildy Photography, and Taylor Mechanical for their support of tonight's broadcast. You're listening to WCDY, McBain Cadillac, Lake City. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Zach Wiggins turning the dials for us back in the studio. Did anybody ask Zach how he enjoyed working with the legendary Bill Barnett last week?
No.
First and goal for, boy, we got And Chippy, Brandon Taylor. Brandon Taylor and Austin Abbott out there blocking each other about 10 yards away from anybody else. Don't tell them the play was over with, because they were just continuing to block back and forth. My thanks to Bill Barnett for stepping up and filling in last week as the Ramblers went down to Lakeview.
The legend,
Bill Barnett.
When I told him, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna call you the legend, Bill Barnett." He goes, "Oh, I thought you were just joking. You really do give nicknames." I said, "You haven't listened to me much."
Obviously not. Second and goal for the Packers. Handoff is up the middle, and nothing much there. Maybe the 8-yard line. And that's going to bring up third and goal now.
Number 22
for Fremont. Not sure why they have it as fourth down. There it goes back to third. Makes more sense.
Well, Matton's still down 14-0 up in Rogers City. There has not been any scoring since our last update.
Does Manton have 4 wins or 5?
I thought they were at 4. News to you did not have them in the playoffs.
Without a 5th win, they have no chance, unfortunately. Andrews wants to throw it. He's going to throw it into the end zone. Several green jerseys in the area, and this is going to be incomplete. Boy, Stroven, the only one with an opportunity, really. Good coverage by the Ramblers, and somehow Stroven still had a chance to catch that ball, but it comes up short, and it'll bring up fourth and goal now for Fremont with 5:12 to go here in the game. Well, Manton not winning tonight would definitely keep them out, so you'd be looking at 3 Highland Conference teams in the playoffs. Then it would just be a matter of how it shakes out. Full house backfield for Andrews. Fremont would love to get them to jump off sides. The handoff is up the middle and over left tackle. That is going to be short. And the Ramblers will take over on downs at their own 6-yard line. And with 5:08 remaining in this one, McBain now an opportunity.
Over to the Ramblers. First down from the 6-yard line.
I was thinking, Manton lost to what? Pine River, McBain, and Lake City for sure.
Yes.
And last week to Morley.
Yes.
That's 4 losses, 4 wins.
Yep. I don't know who they beat, but yeah, you're right. So they're definitely 4-4. Yes. McBain takes over at their own 6.
George Brown, the third string quarterback's back in there. Josh Hart in motion.
Don't want to miss that pun. It's a good thing. Ethan Bart split to the far left all by himself. George Brown will rush it over the left side.
Number 24,
and he'll take it up to about the 9-yard line. Gain of 3. Second and 7 now for McBain. More importantly, the clock will continue to run down. Well, Ethan Bart's out here with about a 9-inch height differential between him and his defender. You think Ethan Bart Barton looks over at Coach Maloney and says, just one time. Just throw it up for me one time. Let me just see if I can come down with it. Come on, Coach. Blitz up the middle coming. Auden Ealing around the right edge, and Ealing somehow sheds a tackle. Now reversing field. Now the ball on the turf. And who's got it?
Fremont.
They do. Fremont has come up with the ball at the 2-yard line. And so Fremont, suddenly with 4:28 to go, has the ball and a first and goal at the 2-yard line. As Ealing trying to change direction one too many times, gets it stripped, and Fremont comes up with it.
Yeah, big scoring opportunity for the Packers as they could get this within a 2-score game after this.
And then I'll bet you we would see that little group thing that runs to the ball, and we'd see an onside kick. Andrews will take it himself. Quarterback sneak. He's managed to pick up a couple yards any other time, but not this one. He's going to get stopped at about the 1. We'll bring up second and goal.
75 was stopped. About a 1-yard pickup.
My guess is Cody Andre is looking over to the sideline. Probably not going to look at the sideline. He says, no, just again call my own number. Yes.
But tell you what, McBain should try and just jump this. What do you lose if you get offsides?
Nothing, exactly. Might as well. Andrew will try it again. And boy, I tell you what, no signal yet from a lineman. Line judges neither signaling touchdown, so he got stopped again at the 1. So 3rd and goal now for the Packers. And more importantly, they're costing themselves time by not being able to get in the end zone. 3.5 minutes to go. You're absolutely right, Hawkeye. If you're the Ramblers, why not just jump it? Try to guess. Doesn't hurt you.
Not saying there's much of a win, but the ref just threw the towel behind him and it flew 14 yards to the north.
Andrews this time will hand it off, and into the end zone is Taylor, I believe. Nope, Taylor's on this side. That is Stroven, I think.
Touchdown, Fremont.
So the Packers, with 3:09 remaining, cut it to 33-20. And will no doubt go for 2, I would assume, in this situation. It's a 2-score game no matter what. Well, actually, you could make it a field goal and a touchdown score if you get this 2-point conversion.
If you do 2 2-point conversions.
Correct. This 2-point conversion would make it 11 points, and they could. And they have shown they have a kicker who can kick. So.
Bad thing is those Fremont will be going into the win for the rest of the games.
Correct. 2-point conversion attempt. Andrews fakes, reverse, looking for the corner of the end zone, going for the pylon, and he gets it. 2-point conversion is good from Christian Kennedy.
Number 4, Christian Kennedy.
And that makes it 33-22 with 3:09 to go. And so an all-important onside kick
Ramblers 33
will come up now.
Packers 22.
And this is a big one. Ramblers really need to get this one. 3:09 remaining in the game. Now, do you run the onside kick the same way you faked it the last 3 kickoffs?
No, what you do is you huddle right behind the ball and you just turn around and kick it. You don't even get back to fake the approach.
Okay.
So that's what they did last night on the JV game. Is the way they do the onside kick is they huddle around the ball, and that's where they want to lull you into sleep, not when they go back to fake that quick kick.
Maloney, I'm sure, talking to his players, make sure that they are ready. He's got the hands team up there. George Brown III is up on the line. Ethan Barton up on the line. Austin Abbott up on the line.
So he's going to kick it right here, I think, before the guys even split out.
Whistle blows, and that is exactly what he will do. Takes a nice bounce into the hands of the ground, and it is out.
Fremont got the ball.
Fremont did. It took a bounce right into the arms of a Rambler who could not corral it. Bounced back toward the Fremont Packers who were coming up. It actually took a great bounce from McBain. But unfortunately, Ramblers unable to bring it in. And so now the Ramblers defense will have to go out and try to get another stop here as the Packers with the ball at the 48.
McBain's had enough of this, and they decided to put their starting defense back out there. And even if Fremont does drive, they're going to make it as tough sledding as possible for them.
3:06 to go at the McBain 48-yard line. Handoff is to Stroven. Stroven or Kennedy? That is Stroven. And Stroven will take it up to about the 46-yard line. Give him a couple, it'll be 2nd and 8. 2:47 remaining. I'm not sure how many timeouts Fremont has. At least 2, maybe all 3. Andrews. Fake. Wants to throw. He is going to get buried back at midfield. Goodness gracious. Ramblers with some great penetration around the edge. And nothing going there. And Fremont will be forced to call a timeout as they lost yardage on that. A 3rd and 12 coming up for Fremont as the McBain defense after the successful onside kick, finding another gear. 2.5 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Don't forget, stick around. The Northern Truck Service postgame show will be coming up. We'll have some final thoughts and stats, along with the Judy K. Gildy Photography Picture Perfect Play of the Game, the George Johnson All Heart Award, the Huttinga Electric Lineman of the Game, and of course, the most exciting 15 seconds in all of broadcasting, the Taylor Mechanical Hawkeye Player of the Game. You don't want to miss it. 3rd and 12 coming up for Fremont from midfield. 2:31 remaining on the clock here in McBain. Ramblers trying to close out a 7-2 season. Andries will hand it off. This is Brandon Taylor, and Taylor will be stopped shy of the 45-yard line, give him the 46, 4-yard gain. He's going to bring up 4th and about 8 now. So with 2:15 to go, this is it. One stop for the Ramblers, and they can get into victory formation.
Brings up 4th down.
Well, all right, with 2 timeouts, maybe not quite.
I don't think Fremont has any timeouts left.
Single wing look for the Packers. Andries will hand it off to Taylor. Taylor around the left side with room to run to the 45, but then dropped at the 44-yard line. And that will salt it away for the Ramblers as Fremont turns it over on downs with 1:53 left, and McBain will take over.
And on the stop, number 24.
And if Fremont has no timeouts left, that's going to do it.
Ball will be placed on the 40.
Ball on the 44-yard line of McBain. So McBain has done their job, Hawkeye. With the win tonight, we'll move to 7-2, and now it's just a matter of waiting to see what the MHSAA will do. What division will they be in? What will their district look like? And will they get to host a pre-district contest? That's the biggie. Nothing better than being able to come back to your friendly confines for that first game. Snap to George Brown around the left edge, and George will stumble over midfield, tripped up by Brandon Taylor. And we got a late flag coming in.
Yeah, because that was a slide tackle that you would see going into second base, which is in a...
Oh, I didn't even notice how
he slid like he was going into second base.
So he went feet first? Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's terrible. You can't do that. That was a soccer style. Do they have soccer at Fremont? Maybe he's a soccer player. It'd be right now, wouldn't it?
The same season.
Yeah, so. Well, maybe converted.
Tripping on Fremont Packers. That'll be a 15-yard.
So the penalty will be marked from the flag from the 49-yard line of McBain. And that's going to be, I don't know why they walk it off. Why don't they just look at the hashes?
Do the math?
Do the math. Yeah, I don't get that, honestly.
Because only nerds do math. A lot of these refs are ex-athletes, so they're not nerds. They're like cool and intelligent and good looking and all that other stuff.
Yeah, there you go. 42-yard line of Fremont with 1:33 and ticking. George will wait for the back judge to indicate 5 seconds remaining. And take the snap. Hand it off to Ealing, and they're going to fumble it again. And Fremont's going to pick it up again.
Are you sure?
Oh, they were there. They should have. They did not. Okay. Oh, McBain recovers it back at the 46-yard line.
McBain recovers. Brings up 2nd and 14.
With 1.5 minutes to go, if Fremont has no timeouts, Hawkeye, explain to me why George is not taking a step back or two and kneeling down.
I think what the problem is right now is when you're playing a third-string quarterback, you're afraid of just throwing a new play at him. I don't know. Maybe you just
kneeling is a new play.
Well,
what you'd be worried about mostly is the snap. He's handling the snap. It's this attempted handoff that's the struggle. And now we've got him under center, and he will take a knee.
And that will be it.
Although we've got a flag on the play.
Really?
Head linesman throwing the flag.
No, it is. I remember
Some discussion. 19 seconds remaining on the clock. I'm not sure what the discussion is. It is a delay of game on the Ramblers.
Delay of game on McBain. 5-yard penalty.
Did you see the back judge indicate?
No, I saw the side judge indicate.
Why is the side judge indicating the quarterback can't see him? That's right. I don't understand this sport. We'll go back to the 49-yard line of McBain, and we'll take one more snap. And there you go. That will do it. 33-22, the McBain Ramblers will limp off their home field with their 7th victory of the season. They will be in the playoffs next week. Now we just need to find out where and when and against whom. We'll be back with some final thoughts and statistics from McBain. 33-22, your final. Don't go anywhere. The Taylor Mechanical postgame show coming up right after this.
When it's late, when it's snowing, when you just have to have it. It's nice knowing McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain is open 7 days a week. Locally owned and operated with the friendliest cashiers helping to serve your grocery needs. From candy and chips to pop and munchies, McNally's Party Store, they're still keeping it cold. And wishing the McBain Ramblers good luck in tonight's game. That's McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain, open 7 days a week.
High school students are training for the jobs of tomorrow today at the Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center in Cadillac. Juniors and seniors from 12 area high schools can choose from 14 career-driven programs. Free college credit is available. Visit WMISD.org and click or tap the Career Technical Education link. See all the great programs, then talk to your student's counselor. Call 876-2200. The Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center on 13th Street across from Baker College. Proud to serve the students of McBain High School. CTC is the place to be.
We've all been there. We rely on our vehicles more than ever to get us where we need to go, safe and sound. McBain Auto Service is open Monday through Friday and are fully licensed and insured to serve you. With over 50 years combined experience, they specialize in everything from brakes to engine repair with no job too big or small. Stop in for a safety inspection. McBain Auto Service, located at 9438 South Maury Road in McBain, or call 231-825-2729.
Providing great service and quality to our customers, LC Materials is here for you and all your concrete and aggregate needs, both residential and commercial projects. We can assist you in estimates, sand and gravel needs, project details, and on-time delivery. LC Materials is also in Cadillac at the Concrete Store. The Concrete Store has building supplies, stone, block, tools, and other accessories to help you finish your project. So when you're ready, call LC Materials. We're ready when you are, online at lcmaterials.net.
Your one-stop farm supply store is Falmouth Co-op in the heart of agriculture country. With locations at Falmouth and McBain, Falmouth Co-op has what you need to keep all your animals well-fed and healthy. Plus, bulk fuel and professional agronomy services like custom fertilizers and spraying and soil and grid sampling. Falmouth Co-op is your premier grain dealer and birdseed headquarters. And the McBain location has pizza, burgers, wings, and appetizers. Stop in today at either location in Falmouth and McBain. Falmouth Co-op is proud to support McBain student athletes.
The harsh northern Michigan winter is right around the corner, and that's why you need to heat your house with Holton's LP Gas. Call them today at 231-839-4600. You can contact the office for specials today. And if you're a new customer, they have specials for you as well. Holton's LP Gas has been in Lake City for 30 years, and don't worry, they service the entire listening area. They've got 24/7 live, trained professionals. Holton's LP Gas is a proud sponsor of McBain Athletics.
And welcome back to McBain High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye, Vanna, Zach Wiggins turning the dials for us back in the studio. The McBain family circle going on between the 30-yard lines out on the field because the Ramblers have finished the 2018 regular season with a victory, 33-22 over the Fremont Packers. And they, at 7-2, await their fate. The MHSAA selection show on Sunday night will take place, and they'll find out whether or not a 7-2 record is enough to host a pre-district contest here in McBain. If snooze to use calculations are to be believed, we could be right back here next Friday night for a pre-district contest with McBain. Meanwhile, tonight, the Ramblers, well, probably some wounds to lick over the next week. There are a lot of serious to nagging injuries to deal with for the Ramblers. They went to their fourth quarterback tonight. Gavin Seelan did not play, dealing with a leg injury. You had Daniel Rodenbaugh take over. He left in the first half with a shoulder injury. George Brown, the third string quarterback, came on and actually played fantastically, taking over for most of the rest of the game through 2 touchdown passes, really to lead the Ramblers to this win. But then even George Brown III had to come off after a run that was ironically called back because of a penalty. 3 touchdowns tonight called back due to penalties, although the Ramblers, I believe, scored eventually on all 3 of those possessions. But George Brown III came off the field for a few plays because of a shoulder injury. And Justin Camphouse, the 4th string quarterback, went out onto the field and ran a few plays, including handing off to Auden Ealing for a touchdown run after George Brown had come off. So a lot of nagging injuries to deal with as the Ramblers get ready for the MHSAA playoffs. Our last report, Lake City was on their way to a 9th straight victory, an 18th straight regular season victory at least, looking for a back-to-back perfect regular season records. And Pine River, as we know, has already punched their ticket to the playoffs as well. So 3 Highland Conference schools will be in the playoffs next week. And the Ramblers will be here on 107.9 CDY. We haven't gotten official confirmation about it yet, and I'm kind of glancing over at my communication with Zach and Rich Spicer, our fine morning guy here on 107.9 CDY, to see if they can confirm this for us. But
big announcement coming.
Might be a big announcement coming. We'll hang on. We'll hold on to that announcement, and we'll get into the post-game stats. 33-22, your final here. Hawkeye, what you got?
My final stats is that the McBain Ramblers have 33 and Fremont has 22. Oh, you want more than just that?
I would love more than that, yes. Thank you.
Auden Ealing led the offensive rushing attack with 116 rushing yards and 2 TDs. Garrett Berberkamos was your leading receiver with only 1 little reception for 40 yards thrown on a rope. Other rushers that we had, George Brown went over the century mark with 106 yards rushing for a long 34. Daniel Rodenbaugh had 74 yards and didn't play at all in the second half. A couple of other rushes by Logan Rodenbaugh and Noah Henriksen, which equaled 1 yard. George Brown came out and he went 4 for 4 passing. I knew that he was having a good game, but did you realize he did not throw an complete pass?
I did not realize.
89 yards, and all those 4 for 4 passing, half of them are touchdowns. So if Maloney would wake up a little bit and have Rodenbaugh throw 15 times a game, 16 times a game, he could have 8-9 touchdowns because he throws every other pass for a touchdown. I don't know what these guys are thinking. Justin Camphouse, 35 yards on 2 reception. Logan Rodenbaugh, another 14 yards on a reception. Defensively led by Justin Camphouse with 7 tackles and 8 assists for 15 total. Owen Bonico, 5 tackles, 8 assists. Logan Rodenbaugh, 4 tackles, 3 assists. Noah Henriksen, 2 tackles, 13 assists. Logan Rodenbaugh also had the scoop on the turnover to get the only turnover that McBain had during the game. And that is your individual stat update.
This is the Northern Truck Service post-game show. Northern Truck Service has your best diesel mechanics in the area. Call Jen, 825-6008. That's 825-6008 to schedule your truck repair today. Got some post-game awards to hand out, and this is where Hawkeye earns every dime that we pay him. It's an exorbitant amount. Honestly, I don't know how we make any money on these broadcasts whatsoever, because we have the best color analyst in the business. The Judy K. Gildy Photography Picture Perfect Play of the Game. Lots of candidates tonight. We had 2 touchdown passes. We had a frozen rope that set up a 3rd touchdown from George Brown III. We had a 68-yard touchdown run by Daniel Rodenbaugh. We had a 46-yard touchdown run from Auden Ealing. We had a scoop and near score by Loden Rodenbaugh with a host of green jerseys around him, and yet somehow got dragged down by an interloper that got in between all those to bring him down before getting into the end zone. Just a lot to pick from, Hawkeye, but I would never even pretend to know which way you're going to go with this. What you got?
Well, I thought about the 2 huge runs by Auden Ealing and the scoop and almost score, but that wasn't a score, so we're throwing that one out. But then I realized when you pick the play of the game, what's the one that made the biggest impression where you're going, wow, I did not see that coming, and you'll be talking about it, and that will be a 63-yard punt by Noah Henriksen. Okay, not that really. Actually, my Judy K. Gildy Picture Perfect Play of the Game does involve Noah Bam Bam Henriksen and then Lucas Skolten, because 2 minutes and 31 seconds left. Fremont just got the onside kick, drop back to pass. They look like they're back in business. They could cut it to a 1-score game. And the big sack, the defensive sack that really ended Fremont's hopes, will be my Judy K. Gildy Picture Perfect Play of the Game.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. Every time you think he's going to zig, he zags. And I know better than to even guess. The Noah Hendrickson sack that, as Hawkeye said it, basically ended Fremont's hopes there on the last possession is your Judy K. Gildy Photography Picture Perfect Play of the Game. Our sincere thanks to Judy K. Gildy Photography. Check her out on Facebook. You can find shots from tonight's game and others all during the school year. Some great, great action shots of your favorite Ramblers out there on the athletic fields, and she's got the best in the business around here, so make sure you check her out on Facebook. How about the George Johnson All-Heart Award in honor of former assistant varsity basketball coach and uber McBain fan George Johnson, who we lost last fall. No bigger fan in Rambler athletics, as we named this one for George in honor of the Rambler that best exemplifies George's passion for McBain Rambler athletics and passion out on the field. Who you got for this one?
Well, I'm going to cheat. Can I cheat?
You can. Absolutely.
All right. My George Johnson All-Heart Award winner, and you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
On senior night.
Yep.
Austin Abbott, Garrett Verberkmos, Cade Brown, Logan Rodenbaugh, Bam Bam Noah Henriksen, Jacob Bovin, Justin Camphouse, and Auden Ealing.
Yep, seniors on senior night. There's your George Johnson All-Heart Award, as they all got some action tonight, got out and demonstrated what George demonstrated for years as a Rambler fan here in McBain. Seniors, your winners of the George Johnson All-Heart Award tonight. How about the Huttinga Electric Lineman of the Game? It's an award that's been dominated really by Owen Bonico. And you could pretty much, Owen's like the LeBron James of the Lineman of the Year award. You could give it to him every year. You could give it to him every game. But sometimes it's nice to spread the love around a little bit. I don't think tonight would largely be much different. But again, I like to see where you're going with things. What do you got for this one?
You thought I made a mistake. Brendan Rose is your senior Huttinga Electric Lineman of the Game.
You'll notice I didn't say anything. I didn't ruin it for you. I didn't say anything. I pointed, and you didn't react, so I was like, all right, there you go. Well, that's, again, why you're the best color analyst in the business. Brendan Rose, the one senior not mentioned on the George Johnson All-Heart Award, is mentioned because he is your Huttinga Electric Lineman of the Game. Congratulations, Brendan, for your efforts tonight. Make sure you stop by Senior's office for that one. That's a prestigious one as well. This is the Northern Truck Service post-game show. We want to thank Northern Truck Service, as well as Judy K. Gildy Photography, Huttinga Electric, Taylor Mechanical, McBain Hardware, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, White Pine Outdoor Boilers, McLean Transmissions, Wexford Misaki Career Tech Center, the Falmouth Co-op, Holton's LP Gas, High Flow Performance, Amp Wireless, Pluger Mechanical, McBain Auto Service, Burkholder Family Funeral Home, McNally's Party Store, LC Materials, McBain Lake City Family Pharmacy, Crandall Precision, and Kelly's Pizza and Grill for their support of tonight's broadcast and all season long here on 107.9 CDY. We couldn't do it without them. Please make sure you stop in and thank them for their support of these broadcasts.
Big Northern Truck Service shout out to the boys and girls cross country team who just won the Highland Conference, swept them in middle school and high school cross country. In addition to that, Claudia O'Malley just finished her Highland Conference career undefeated for 6 years in girls and women's cross country, not beat by a single other
Highland
woman
Conference
opponent.
You're kidding me.
In
Wow.
6 years.
That's incredible.
Ever since she said the last time she lost to a Highland Conference opponent was in 6th grade, and it was an 8th grader when she was still getting to know the sport.
That doesn't even count because you weren't technically, right? It's not till 7th grade that you're even technically
Northern Truck Service, shout out to the cross country team, the state ranked cross country teams as they wrap up some hardware.
Fantastic job, and a fantastic job by the McBain Ramblers. 33-22, your final here in McBain. That leaves us with one final thing to do, and that is the most exciting 15 seconds in all of high school sports. It is the Taylor Mechanical Hawkeye Player of the Game. You've waited with bated breath for this moment. Who you got, Hawkeye?
I am giving the Hawkeye Player of the Game to George Brown, the third string quarterback. He kicked it off. He returned the kickoffs, threw some touchdowns, ran for a touchdown. That was called back for a holding penalty, but he actually got in the end zone. Came in as the third string quarterback, threw a 60-yard dart for Berkamo down the sideline. I have to give it to George Brown, the third string quarterback.
Absolutely. Well earned tonight. Couple of touchdown passes. Just a great performance coming off, I'd say off the bench, but he was already on the field. Shifting positions by George Brown III, going from tailback to quarterback, and did a fantastic job in leading the Ramblers to victory. 33-22, your final. Did Isaac Culp of the Rambler Review just leave did he wait specifically for the player of the game before leaving the press box?
Yes, he did.
That is fantastic.
Just like everybody else is starting to turn us off.
That is fantastic. That's right. Well, we won't keep you any longer. That's going to do it for us from McBain. For our producer and engineer, Zach Wiggins, for Gary Hawkeye Vanna, I'm Jay Simon. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight, folks. We'll be back next week. We will be back next week, but you're going to have to wait for the MHSAA Sunday Selection Show to find out when, where, and against whom. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, where as soon as we know, we'll post the matchups, where you'll be able to hear on the family of Up North radio stations, and we can announce over on 107.1 The Drive, Hawkeye. We will be covering
Lake City Trojan football as they are going to get ready for another deep run, undefeated through the regular season, and we'll have the best of Missaukee County on both stations of Up North Live, and the other station has a little team down there in Big Rapids. What did they call again? The Reed City Coyotes.
Playing Pine River tonight. They could be 9-0 going into the playoffs and looking to make a deep run. So on the Up North Radio LLC family of stations, you're going to have some great football next weekend. Just make sure you check out our Facebook pages and find out who they'll be playing and where you can hear them. So Lake City football over on 107.1 The Drive, hashtag family on 3. And the McBain Ramblers here on 107.9 CDY. Tune in to both of those stations for your football extravaganza next weekend. But Gary and myself, you'll be able to hear us next week right here on your home for McBain Rambler Athletics, your number one hit music station, 107.9 CDY.
Good night, boys.
This McBain Rambler broadcast on 107.9 CDY and 107.9CDY.com has been sponsored by McBain Hardware, Holton's LP Gas, Northern Trucking, Falmouth Co-op, the Wexford Missaukee Career Technical Center, Crandall Precision, High Flow Performance, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, Amp Wireless and Pluger Mechanical, McBain Family Pharmacy, Burkholder Family Funeral Home, McNally's Party Store, LC Materials, McBain Auto Service, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, High Point Cadillac GMC, Judy K. Gildy Photography, Taylor Mechanical, and our streaming sponsor, McLean Transmission. Thanks for listening to this McBain Rambler Sports broadcast on 107.9 CDY.
Cadillac's new number one. 107.9 CD.
Spent 24